I hope you guys are having a good weekend. We had a lot happen in week 2 of the Kouri Richins trial. Not only do we get to hear from her two best friends who testify about her, we got to hear from Josh Grossman, the man that she was having an affair with, and we actually got to know more of Kouri Richins because we finally got to listen to her. We got to hear her phone calls that were recorded.
I was like, you think I killed my fucking husband for Jesus Christ's sake? And now somebody's gonna come in and take my fucking house from me? It's not gonna happen. I am not a bad fucking mom, and Amy told them I was a bad mom.
Now, she was drunk in one of them, and the other one, she was complaining about how she couldn't attend Eric's celebration of life service, and she was talking so much crap about Eric's family. Like I mentioned before, we had no police interview, no body cam footages before this trial happened, so we didn't really get to hear much from Kouri aside from the interview that she did promoting her book. Let's get into this week, guys. Monday morning, the state sought to enter in Mr. Crozier's police interview, and this is the guy who testified last week before. He was a drug dealer who sold to Carmen, who then gave the pills to Kouri. In his first interview, he basically told a story that aligned with the state's theory, but then years later, he was like, actually, I'm going to retract that because I don't remember that interview. I was actually on, I was detoxing at that time, was on a lot of meds, and I actually don't remember that interview at all.
Kind of out of it because of withdrawal and pressure to say certain things.
The first witness of the day is going to explain as to why they determined Eric's manner of death as unknown instead of ruling it as a homicide.
In this case in specific, we did not really have any concerns about suicide in this case, but there had been concerns related to our office that perhaps someone had done something to provide this to him and that he didn't just take it himself, but we didn't know. We had no idea how he got the stuff into his system, and so with that, we were left with undetermined.
A fatal dose of fentanyl. It's not then instantaneous death.
It depends partly, generally speaking, no. It's a function of the dose and the route of administration. So it's going to get into the system more quickly as an IV or smoking will generally get it there pretty quickly as well.
And the reason why I believe the state is bringing it up right now is because last week, the defense made a point through another witness that, well, if Eric had taken this large dose of fentanyl, but he was able to metabolize it to make it into norfentanyl, it might seem like Eric had some sort of a tolerance because, again, they're trying to paint Eric as a picture as someone who took the fentanyl himself. Through this witness, we get to hear the phone call that Kouri made inquiring to the medical examiner's office. That's some old school elevator music. That's the type of elevator music that you hear in horror movies, okay? Like,
Hey, this is Kouri Richins. Hey, I just have some quick questions for you. I'm just trying to understand the toxicology report, and I promise I won't take up a ton of your time.
why does she sound so robotic? Is she using AI? Or something? It sounds so robotic. Hey, this is Kouri Richins. I'm just trying to understand something, and I won't take too much of your time.
You're fine. You're fine.
Can you just kind of explain to me, I guess, she was saying that this kind of supplemental report, I guess, was left out of the first autopsy, and so nothing has really changed. Do you have it in front of you?
I do. Yeah, I've got the file here.
So can you...
So just so you know, so we issue supplemental reports, like if once the original report's issued, if we do any additional testing, if we do any additional microscopic examination, anything like that, then we include that. And sometimes it does change the cause or manner, but in this case it didn't.
Okay, it was just like extra testing done?
Oh, so she's like, oh, there's going to be some extra testing done? What is this supplemental report? He's like, yeah, extra tox. She's probably like, oh shit, why are they doing extra testing on Eric? No, don't do it. Don't do it. Maybe. If we think, maybe. Or she could just be like genuinely curious why there is extra testing done.
And this was additional testing on stomach contents. Is it been there a long time? Is this something the person's been using for a long time?
Okay.
Is it something they ate? Is it something they, injected? Is it, whatever? And there's different things you can learn by looking at different substances. I mean, we fully expected to find it in the stomach. It's just a question of what was there.
So does this tell you, like, if it was like injected, if he ate it, is that what this, can you tell from this report?
Not definitively. I mean, it seems like, with what the amount that's there, that it probably was ingested. Probably taken by mouth.
Okay, and so the 15 ng, like, is that like a substantial amount? Is that like a trace?
That's a lot. That's a lot of fentanyl in the blood. Yeah, I mean, that's people die with half that amount or less in their system.
Okay, so that's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Acetyl? I don't know how you say that.
Acetyl fentanyl.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just it's a form of, it's a variant of fentanyl that is usually only present in the setting of illicitly manufactured fentanyl.
Illicit manufactured, like a pharmacy?
No.
You said illicit, ma'am.
Most fentanyl that we see that ends up leading people to die these days is related to fentanyl that's manufactured by drug cartels as opposed to by pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, good Lord. So this is like more of like a cartel. No, I mean, that's not what it is.
You call this the street fentanyl as opposed to, hospital
prescription.
fentanyl.
So I wonder if she hears that. It's like, oh, drug cartel. Okay, I got to figure out ways to get Eric down in Mexico.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then just the last one. What is quetiapine?
Quetiapine is an antipsychotic medication. It's called Seroquel.
Her pronunciation of quetiapine seems spot on, like she's familiar with it. And I mean, here's one thing. It's like, one, you either know how to pronounce it because you're familiar with it because you know it's your medication, or two, you're pretending not to know what quetiapine is, but it's kind of suspicious because that's your prescription medication that you take. Unless it's an old medication that she hasn't taken in a while.
Could those have been mixed? Or is that not kind of a...
What's that? Could what be mixed?
Quetiapine and like the fentanyl? Or is that like a normal, I guess, drug thing? I don't know.
Do you have any indication he was abusing fentanyl?
No, that's why all of this is just like, what the heck is this and going on? So I guess that's why I'm confused just about all of this, honestly. So I don't know. So, I mean, I know it doesn't mean anything now, but just kind of something for me to, try and figure out, I guess.
Yeah.
When you pretend you can't pronounce a word or pronounce it perfectly. Yeah, because she pronounced it correct the first time. Yeah, I mean, also the tone of this voice, it just doesn't really seem like shock and like horror. It just seemed like, oh, okay. Oh, what is this? Oh, all right. So he probably took it at the same time. Okay, so what's this? Whereas, like, I don't know, this is like your first time kind of like really digesting the supplemental report. You'd be like, oh my God, like you'd be in like shock and horror. Like, what? Like, are you serious? Like, there was that much in his system? Oh, I can't believe it. Illicit? Are you sure? Are you sure that it's illicit? Like, my husband would never do anything like this. I just can't imagine, right? Like,
yeah, like she said, it doesn't change anything in the cause or manner of death. It's still, definitely, death from fentanyl intoxication, and we still don't know how he got it into him.
Yeah, and I mean, is that anything you could ever find out if it was? I mean, do people normally eat that? Like, take it, swap? Like, is that something you like shoot?
It's not usually something people eat. Well, that's not even true anymore. So with illicitly manufactured stuff, sometimes people take pills that have that. So yeah, these days you can't really tell.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate your time. I do. Thank you very much. And
yep. And if you have other questions, don't hesitate to give me a call.
now her finding out the manner of death and getting this death certificate has two folds of purposes for her, and it's going to be very important for her. It'll be brought up again later on this week. That is a good question. Why would he eat it? Why eat it? Why not inject it? Unless, it was a suicide thing. But again, there's no suicide note. I don't think they had any other indications that it could have been a suicide.
If one didn't know and one took some opiate, could they have hives and those sorts of allergic-like responses?
Yes.
This is because Kouri tried saying that when Eric ate that egg sandwich on Valentine's Day, I wasn't trying to poison him with fentanyl. He just had an allergic reaction. That's why he took his EpiPen. The part in cross-examination that I want to focus on is the hair follicle test, because again, the defense is really pushing that, well, Eric is a drug user. Eric used THC gummies. And Eric, maybe he was the one who took the fentanyl himself and he wasn't actually poisoned by Kouri.
What about hair follicles?
Hair testing in the setting of drug use is primarily used as a means of evaluating drug use over time.
Certainly in this case, a hair follicle test, if it had been requested of your office, you would have sent it out.
We would. I don't know, and I think as I told you, I don't know what the literature says about hair follicle testing for fentanyl specifically, whether that's a useful endeavor or not. I don't know.
Now, had that been done, had you gotten the results back and it did show long-term, that certainly would have played into your determination as to the manner of death, correct?
Objection calls for speculation. The testimony has been...
Yeah.
I expected that objection.
If you send out a hair follicle test, is your practice generally, when you receive the results of said hair follicle test, to use those said results in your determination of whether or not to change a manner of death?
They would be part of all the information that we look at to come up with our final cause and manner of death.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you for that. There.
Now let's get back to the defense arguing against Mr. Crozier's police interview to be shown to the jury.
There's not only just the statements of Mr. Crozier and...
Oh, this is Mr. Crozier's interview. Okay, I want to see Mr. Crozier's interview.
We have law enforcement side, and then we have the Mr. Crozier side.
Right, but then we also have law enforcement making statements to Mr. Crozier, statements from Nicole Cummings and Carmen Lauber, so there's those hearsay statements in there also. And the other thing is, it says that it can be admissible under 801D if when the person is subject to cross-examination. I know Mr. Crozier was subject to cross-examination, but he's no longer subject to cross-examination. It seems as if this video should have been introduced prior, because then we would have had the opportunity to show portions of the video and cross-examine him on the video. That opportunity is now lost.
Why?
Well, he's been released from his subpoena. We don't know if he's been out talking about the case. I suppose
Well, you could ask him about that, but he's not unavailable.
Well, that's correct. We could subpoena him and bring it back in. That's true.
And I just want to make sure I understand the procedural history here. Defense had the video, right?
Yes.
To the extent it had wanted to cross-examine him regarding the video when he was on the stand, you had the opportunity, and there may have been good reasons to not do it at the time.
Well, the main reason was he had no memory of it, so that made it difficult.
Well, that's exactly the condition that triggers 801D1A.
Well, 801D1A is if there is inconsistencies in it.
Or has forgotten.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I don't have it in front of me.
I mean, I think that
Ma'am, there's a computer right here. You can look it up real quick, no?
under 801D1A is that he was testified numerous under oath in open court that he couldn't remember the interview, even to the extent of saying that piece of transcript does not refresh my recollection.
Correct.
So the judge will instruct the jury to not take what the law enforcement is saying as fact, but to only consider what Crozier is saying for the truth of the matter.
You had involvements with people in Summit County that we're looking at. That's what we're going to talk to you about. Phone number for you, Robert.
385. I couldn't even tell you. I'm so confused right now.
Okay.
I really can't. My phone's new anyways.
Okay. Don't know your phone number then?
No.
Okay.
So when Crozier is saying he doesn't remember, is he saying he doesn't remember because he thinks it might be incriminating in some way, or is he saying he doesn't remember because he generally doesn't remember? But he said he doesn't remember his phone number.
So we're here to talk to you about a transaction that you made a little over a year ago with a female named Carmen Lauber. You met her at a Maverick and Draper on 2 separate occasions in February of last year, so a little over a year ago.
Okay. It's not
Ringing a bell at all?
Not ringing any specific bells, no.
Okay. Well, let me give you a little more information then. So we've talked to Carmen, we've talked to Nicole.
Yeah, is it not ringing a bell because he generally doesn't remember, or he doesn't want to admit to it? You don't want to get yourself into more trouble, huh?
We talked to Nicole yesterday, got her phone and downloaded everything we needed off of her phone. You sold Carmen blues on 2 separate occasions there at the Draper Maverick. As a result, somebody died from that transaction. So we're not interested in jamming you up or anything like that. We're simply here for information. But we know that you sold those, and we can prove that through cell phone records and that kind of stuff. But right now, your information for us is more valuable than you being charged federally with selling fentanyl that results in the death. Now you're in on some drug stuff. Do you know anything about the federal rules with fentanyl and M30s? And
I don't know anything. I know I've got a distribution of, I got a cop of 30 of them in December. And then,
the M30s?
yeah.
Okay. So tell us what you know. Like I said, right now your information is more valuable, but at this point we can prove, we know that you met with Carmen at that Draper Maverick on 2 separate occasions, sold her fentanyl, That fentanyl was then used in a death case, basically, so we tracked it back to this point. But we're not interested in jamming you up. We're here to try and corroborate information. Or if you don't want to talk to us, that's fine. We will pursue it federally because we know that you sold them the fentanyl that resulted in the death. So that's kind of where we're at. And I'm not trying to bullshit you. I'm just kind of laying it out exactly how it is right now.
I remember Nicole calling me and saying, "Hey, will you be my friend?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that, and then she was like, "Oh, she wants a lot." And I was like, "All right."
Is 30 a lot for you, or is that a lot for Nicole? Or?
I think it was a lot for Nicole. It wasn't a lot for me, but
okay.
I was like.
Yeah, that's crazy. So 20 to 30 was not a lot from him. But he said that during that time, remember when he testified on the stand, he was like, well, during that time, I only got prescription pills from people that I knew. And it was like, what did he say, like 3 to 4 people? It's like, okay, so how often were these people getting their prescription refilled? Because 20 to 30, that could wipe out someone's 1 month supply of the prescription, right? 1 or 2 months, depending on what dose they're on.
Yeah, I met her just the 2 times. I think I talked to her a couple more times after, but just to see, you know what I mean? Hey, you know, because somebody's spending, you know what I mean? You know, $500-600
is that what 30 would run about $500 or $600?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. What phone would it have been on?
My phone. Fuck. Maybe a 333-6156 number.
So now he remembers the phone number because before he didn't remember.
But what did you think the phone number was? You said
385-333-615.
Did she ask for blue specifically or fentanyl specifically, or did she ask for oxys, or what did she ask for?
No, I think she might have asked me for blue. I can't remember.
But you sold her in 30s, right?
Yeah, I told her what she knew what she was buying.
Okay, so it wasn't like she's asking for oxys or something like that. And she got the M30s.
Right. No.
Okay. So she knew that there was fentanyl in those pills. Okay. Do you remember where you got those pills from?
Very different than what he was testifying to last week. He said that she knew what they were and she understood it to be fentanyl.
I appreciate you talking to us, Robert. Like I said, we're not here to jam you up over anything. We're just here to try and get some information and see what you got.
Fucking one day wake up with some fucking manslaughter charges.
No. We're not going to pursue that. Like I said, if you didn't.
Okay, so he's worried about manslaughter charges. I mean, he seems pretty well aware of his situation that he's in. It doesn't seem like he's like super out of it, that he has no idea what kind of shit that he could get into. Let's jump over and hear what the defense is arguing about now.
The conversation in 2019 certainly isn't relevant. They have introduced a prenuptial agreement that she signed. It's clear that she knew.
I apologize for interrupting you. It's not clear because it doesn't. I have no evidence that she read it. I don't have any evidence that she understood it. Here, I have a witness saying she understood it, was aware of it, was fearful of it, was taking steps to mitigate.
Okay. If that's going to come in over my objection, certainly respect your ruling. We've made our record, but I would ask that all the rest of that conversation be stricken as too far away. About being trapped in her marriage, about being unhappy, everything about that is utterly irrelevant and outrageously prejudicial. And we would ask that it be stricken and only be allowed to say that she discussed her prenuptial agreement, and that's it. And we also would like a continuing objection to any questions of this witness about any conversation in 2019. We respect your ruling on that.
Okay, so defendant's objection to this series of questions of Ms. Wright is overruled. The testimony that was put on the record through the voir dire requested by defendant is relevant because it shows defendant's genuine subjective awareness of what she believed were the financial consequences that would flow to her if she and her husband divorced. It provides additional probative value because it shows that she was concerned about having less money than her husband if they divorced by virtue of the prenuptial agreement. She was taking steps to mitigate that potential financial effects. She was concerned about how her children might associate more with her husband by virtue of the lifestyle that he would be able to maintain in a post-divorce financial environment. That is all probative to the issues in this case, and it is not substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice.
Let's go over to Allison Wright. She is Kouri Wright's wife, and Kouri Wright was Eric's business partner. So she's going to talk about how they had vacation with the Richins, and at some point, Kouri and her were alone, and Kouri divulged some information about her relationship with Eric.
Kouri opened up and shared that things were difficult at home, and a word I remember is that she felt trapped. At this time, I learned that their marriage had a prenuptial agreement, and she explained that she felt like she was frustrated in the relationship, but also it would be difficult to leave. Eric would end up financially secure, and her the opposite. She feared what would happen in divorce. She mentioned that maybe the kids would prefer him with the lifestyle that they had, four-wheelers and toys and opportunities, where she would have less. She feared how she would be represented by him in the community. I felt for her. It was a hard conversation. I knew that things had been hard since their youngest child was born, and I was tender towards her current circumstance.
I don't know. Maybe she banged her head on something, or she's got some pimples that popped up. It does look a little bruisey.
Yeah, Kouri is super ambitious. She went back to school and got a master's degree. I was impressed. I had young kids. I wasn't sure I could do that. She then went and got a real estate license and was trying to build that business.
But see, here's the thing. Kouri, super ambitious, got the master's degree, was impressed. She had a real estate license. And I think to her, failure was not a fucking option because she was afraid that, you know, if they divorced and they had a prenup, she'd be left with nothing. And so if her business fails, not only does she look back to her community, to her husband's family, and even to her paramour, maybe. Like, I think that's why, you know, it can show that she resorted to killing Eric. Now, the defense is going to bring in something about Eric.
The reason you all were talking about her marriage, there was a reason she was upset in her marriage at that time, wasn't there?
Not that I know.
Think hard.
What I understood from the conversation is things were frustrating at home.
And that's because she believed he was having an affair with a coworker. Is that right?
Girl.
Is that right?
She and I never discussed her thinking about an affair.
Is that the context of the conversation you were having that day, that she believed he was having an affair with a coworker, and that's why she was upset with her marriage and talking about divorce?
Is this something that Kouri made up? And then the defense attorney is like, think hard. Coworker. Affair. Wink, 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 wink. Look at Kouri. I feel like that would stand up more than anything, right? Listen, when you're in a gossiping crew, or you have a friend that tells you, oh my God, you know, this person's having an affair, or I think an affair is happening, you would remember that, because affair is not something that would just something you just forget. It's just like, oh shit, like affair is like, that's a huge accusation.
Were you aware of it at that time, that there was an affair going on between Eric and a coworker?
Are there text messages or the emails that back this up? Something?
When did you find out that Eric was having an affair with a woman that worked with him?
These are facts, not in evidence. The same as facts, not in evidence.
Foundation. You got to lay foundation for this. I'm not sure this witness knows anything about it. Why don't you ask?
You just testified that when you found out, you weren't sure if it was during this conversation. So when did you find out?
That's not accurate. You have to ask it open-ended.
Okay. When did you find out? Was it any time near this conversation?
Will you repeat that question with more detail?
When did you find out that Eric was supposedly having an affair with another woman in context to this conversation? Before, after, during?
I'm having a difficult time understanding, because help me understand affair. Because, like, I think there was a friendship with a lady, but I don't know. So I don't know exactly what was going on.
Understood. That's fair. So let me rephrase it. Did you become aware that Eric had intimate feelings towards a woman that he was working with?
Your Honor, assumes fact, not in evidence.
She's
Argument and
asking
question.
whether this person ever became aware of it. Overruled. It's a yes or no question. Is right. Can we start there?
Can you repeat the question?
Did you become aware that Eric, at around this time, 2019, had intimate feelings towards a woman, another woman that he worked with, that was causing problems in their marriage?
I don't remember when I became aware of it.
Ballpark.
I'm sorry. I think I'd heard of it like twice, and I don't remember.
But you're not allowed to like speculate. She doesn't know.
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
When you were having this conversation with Kouri, did you know at that time?
I don't believe I did.
In fact, didn't Eric and Cody have a falling out over Cody calling the police on Eric?
Cody didn't call the police on Eric.
Did Cody provide testimony against Eric with relation to an investigation against Eric for violating hunting laws?
Lack of foundation.
Well, this is a different question. Ask her if she's aware.
Are you aware that Cody provided information to law enforcement against Eric for a violation of hunting laws? Okay. And Eric and him, as I would say, fell out over that. I don't know another word. Had a disagreement about that.
Yes, temporarily.
And you guys never vacationed together again after that, did you?
No.
All right, let's go over to the defense wanting to dismiss one of the jurors.
The juror note. Go ahead, Ms. Liz.
Your Honor, we do have some concerns about the note that came out from the juror. First off, I believe that had we had this information during jury selection, this juror would have been weeded out in the process because they had a business transaction with the witness. So now we have someone on the jury who I believe, based on our parameters, wouldn't have even made it to the final pool. So that's concerning.
So the defense doesn't know how the juror might feel about the witness that was testifying on the stand. And so if they know each other, or maybe the juror doesn't like her, maybe they'll discredit certain things. So it'll probably be safe to dismiss the juror. However, the judge was like, well, we'll figure it out later on. We'll just have the juror here for now, and then let's collect some more information.
Your Honor, we can address this now.
I want to be transparent. I'm not going to rule in this moment. I will need to just take a look at.
Blood was like, let's go.
My sense of this is I don't need to rule on this right now. I can give it some thought. There's no harm in leaving the juror right where they are for the time being.
Agreed.
Okay.
Right, because you have the alternates. They're there. They're listening. Oh, there's another argument. The defense is also asking for a mistrial because they are claiming the state had evidence that they didn't turn over to the defense.
According to her reports that we were provided, she was the individual who downloaded all of them and stored them into evidence. And I believe...
Oh, are these the secret calls? So in cross-examination, she was like, follow my language. Did you get any calls from my defendant and her family? And then Chelsea Gibson was like, which ones? The jailhouse calls? And then Ms. Nestor was like, objection!
It implicates Ms. Richins' Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial. It affects the presumption of innocence because if the jury is aware that she's been incarcerated, there's been case law that says that can impact her presumption of innocence. There is a pretty recent case in Utah, State versus...
But don't they have people that... Okay, I mean, maybe it's a different state, but remember Lori Vallow? Didn't they accidentally see her chains and her her belt shocker thing when she was bending over and stuff like that?
The issue before the court is a motion for mistrial made by defendant following Ms. Gibson's reference to jail calls, quote unquote, during her cross-examination. The court finds that statement, while improper, was not intentionally elicited by either party. It was inadvertent. It was made in passing. It was a short, quick reference. It is relatively innocuous in light of both the volume of testimony that the jury will hear in this case over the course of 5 weeks. It is relatively innocuous in light of the fact that this is a homicide trial, and so it would not come as a surprise to jurors that the defendant in a homicide trial may have been in custody at some point in the case. And moreover, the court gave a curative instruction that specifically instructed the jury not to consider that comment and not to speculate about whether defendant was or is in custody at any time in this case. Based upon those findings, the court finds that a mistrial is not required. Defendant's motion is respectfully denied.
Let's get to the digital forensic guy. Finally.
Did you look at Eric Richins' phone for evidence of THC gummy use?
Yes.
And did you find text messages between Eric Richins and Kouri Richins as it related to THC gummy use?
Yes. This is a November of 2021 conversation.
And that's between Kouri Richins and Eric Richins?
Yes.
Is this a conversation between Eric Richins and Kouri Richins in January of 2022?
It is.
Did you find anything in Eric Richins' phone about illicit drug use?
No, outside THC, I didn't find anything.
Any communications on Eric Richins' phone about buying drugs?
No.
What was missing from that phone for January 2022, February 2022, and March 2022?
Hundreds of text messages, at least. There were also missing most of the web history artifacts in that device.
Call histories as well?
Call logs, etc.
Carmen Lauber's phone, were you able to tell if there were deletions on that phone?
Yes.
What were you able to note about items being deleted?
Essentially in the same manner as with Ms. Richins' original phone. When comparing Ms. Lauber's call detail records, there were hundreds of texts and dozens of calls contained in those call detail records for that period of time, but they were no longer contained inside the device. Like there was pretty much all of it was gone.
Did you analyze communications between Kouri Richins and, I know he goes by Josh, but Robert Josh Grossman?
Yes.
Did they communicate as far back as 2020?
They did, yes.
And through October of 2022?
Yes.
Again, Josh Grossman was a man that she was having an affair with.
What were the typical volume of calls and texts between Kouri Richins and Josh Grossman?
Particularly from November of 21, which was essentially when the 1152 number showed up on his phone, daily, with a few exceptions.
She also mentions that the day that Kouri reaches out to Carmen Lauber happens to also be the same day that Kouri speaks to the IRS. I wonder if something bad was happening and maybe she needed to expedite planning out to murder Eric. That's a speculation. They also talk about the day that Eric kind of disappeared a little bit during Valentine's Day, the day that he was allegedly poisoned.
Was it unusual for Eric to have Eric Richins to have an 87-minute gap in his activity in the middle of a workday?
It wasn't typical, no.
This shows as Carmen and the drug dealer Robert Crozier were getting close to each other physically, there were a lot of messages between Kouri and Carmen Lauber. Here's another IRS call that Kouri made. Again, this was 2 days or a day or two before Eric's death. One of the calls was about 101 minutes. This is after Eric died. Again, you see Carmen Lauber getting physically closer to Crozier, and then during this time, Kouri and Carmen were texting a lot and communicating with each other. This is Eric's phone activity the night that he dies. So as you can see that 8:30 up until around, there was phone activity from Eric. He was texting back and forth with someone named Pedro. Now, if you look in the blue on the right side, Eric searches how far is it from Scottsdale to Nogales at 9:45 p.m. At 10:18, he gets a text from Raul, and that goes unanswered. Now, here's activity from Kouri's phone from that morning. 3:06, her phone unlocks. Remember, her story is that she was in the bedroom with her child because her child had night terrors. She did not go to bed with Eric. She wakes up around 3 a.m. At 3:08, she travels about 243 feet. At 3:10 a.m., she unlocks her phone again. At 3:15, she unlocks her phone again. 3:19, another phone unlock, also at 3:19 later on. At 3:21 on the right side is when she calls 911 and she unlocks her phone. For some reason, though, she's traveling 135 feet during this time, which is kind of odd. Was she pacing around the house? Like, wouldn't you be next to your husband trying to do CPR? I have a feeling that the defense is going to explain this away by saying that she took her dog out to go potty. But again, this wasn't mentioned in the body cam footage. Also, why would she be walking around 135 feet after calling 911? Still walking the dog?
These images were last seen in a SMS, so a text, like an iMessage. Photo search section is the pathway for those.
No! That's so bad!
So these are the images you were just describing.
Yes.
And you described that they were found in the image files as a remnant of possibly a text message.
Right. I wouldn't say a remnant. It's a thumbnail. I mean, it's
thumbnail.
a PNG file. I mean, it's a thumbnail. Yes.
When you find what gifts they are associated with, it's this guy, you know, rubbing money all over his face. Frank Underwood looks at you. Trumpy, I think that says, I'm really rich.
From the data that you analyzed, were you able to tell if these images...
The expert said that these gifts were accessed at 8:29 a.m. on March 4th, just 6 hours after Eric was found dead. Oh, the Google searches. Here they come in. Can you delete everything on an iCloud account? Can you delete everything off an old iFind without actually having it? Can deleted text message be retrieved? Can you change the password remotely of a lost cell phone? Can deleted text message be retrieved from an iPhone? Can you change the password remotely of a lost iPhone? Log into iCloud account. What do cops do when sees electronics? Girl. How to completely wipe a iPhone clearly remotely. How to erase phone data permanently with EMI number. How to permanently delete information from any phone. How to permanently delete information from an iPhone remotely. Can cops force you to do a lie detector test? What happens if you're detained but never got read Miranda rights? What are you allowed inside Utah jails? Phone Doc Park City. Kuna mutual policy on life insurance cause of death. Will life insurance pay if death certificate says pending? Death certificate says pending. Will life insurance still pay? Federal Correction Institution in Dublin, California. I think like luxury prison for the rich. If someone is poisoned, what does it go down on death certificate as? Poison. If someone is poisoned. What is presumptive positive for naloxone? Is naloxone similar to heroin? What is presumptive positive? Can you overdose on naltrexone? And yes, I am completely ignoring all the spelling errors. Kouri Richins Realty net worth. Kouri Richins, commas, net worth. I'll tell you what it is. -2 million. FBI analysis of electronics in an investigation. What is FBI analysis of electronics? How to delete Facebook. Find my iPhone is off. Is location still correct? Can my iPhone work if off? Is find my iPhone ever wrong? Can FBI find deleted messages? What is a white-collar crime? Why would the FBI be involved? Is a medical examiner report and autopsy report different? When does the FBI get involved in a case? How long does life insurance company take to pay? What is a lethal dose of fentanyl? What is considered a lethal dose of fentanyl? Can a manner of death be changed on a death certificate? Change my passcode on iPhone. What happens if you give Narcan to someone who doesn't need it? Is circumstance unknown an accident? How long does life insurance companies take to pay? Yeah, she wants that money. Utah prison, women Utah prison, Summit County District Attorney, can cops uncover deleted messages iPhone? How to lock my iCloud? What does lock lost iPhone actually do? Summit County District Court. How to turn Find My iPhone off. Now, Mr. Ramos does a lot in cross-examination with the GIFs, talks about the type of cell phone, but honestly, I'm just going to jump to the part where I think landed the most, and of course, this is definitely subjective.
You can't tell us who searched it. Correct. Now, you can't tell us if we were at, if this happened on the 4th, let's go back to the GIF images, okay? On that day, at that time, are you aware, were you told that there were other people in that home?
I'm aware of that.
You are aware of that?
Yes.
Okay, and so did you reach out to those, or I guess that's not your job. You could not tell us who opened that phone at that time, correct? Correct, okay.
Maybe the kids did it. Maybe the family members did it. Maybe it was someone that wasn't Kouri. Jumping over to the steps that Kouri took that night. Mr. Ramos makes his point.
A phone and measure the distance from point X to point Y. Put the phone in your pocket, walk over there, knowing the distance, walk back, plug in the phone, and see whether the Celebrite data that you received for what you just did in that controlled environment matched what was being produced.
No.
Okay. Did you purchase or have access to the iPhone make and model of Ms. Richins?
No.
On either of her phones that she had?
No.
Did you have access to Mr. Richins' iPhone make or model?
No.
Okay. And you did not do any tests, correct?
Correct.
So these numbers right here that we're seeing, you are speculating that is correct.
I'm not speculating. I'm relying on the data being correct inside the device.
But you have no way of knowing that.
Well, I mean, the examples you're giving are not 100%. Wouldn't 100% verify this anyway, I don't think. I think you would have to use the exact device under the exact conditions.
Witness Brooke Harrington, the forensic accountant. She's going to go through all the finances of Kouri's and Eric as well. This witness honestly also drops a lot of bombshells. First, starting off with this demonstrative that she made, it shows just how much debt Kouri was just accruing. You know, it goes from 1.5 million to all the way to 7 million. Then there's a chart right here that shows the blue where as Kouri was incurring more debt, it was getting higher and higher. But in the orange line at the bottom, it was showing that even though her debt was increasing, the total amount of debt that she was paying never commensurate with the amount of debt. I did a full video covering Brooke Harrington's direct testimony. So refer to that video if you guys want to watch more of it. I'm just going to select some of the highlights that I didn't cover in that one and maybe some redundant ones. Here's a document showing Kouri taking out the $250,000 loan against Eric's home. But again, this home did become their marital home.
And the bars go downward because this is a negative number. It's the amount owed?
That's right. And so I've got like on the left-hand side, those are negative numbers. And
yeah, the bigger the bar doesn't mean it's better. The bigger the bar, the more debt.
What did you determine was the balance on the HELOC at the time of Eric Richins' death?
At the time of his death, it was over its limit, $254,000. With the exception of one, the payments were interest-only payments, so the minimum payment. And then you can see in October of 2020, there's a rise in the balance. There was a $50,000 payment made in October 2020. And so that's why the balance is different there. And then by the June and July of 2021, it was at its balance or exceeding.
So am I right then that but for the one $50,000 payment in October 2020, the only payments were minimum monthly interest payments?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
what I've called the purchase timeline, and it depicts the purchase of the properties in these years by Kouri Richins Realty and Kouri Richins.
Oh, look, it's like little Monopoly houses. 2019, 200K, 2020, 2.2 million, 2021, 6.7 million, 2022, 2.9 million. That one house that she got, the Midway Mansion.
I look at a lot of businesses, and it doesn't matter what kind of industry or what kind of business or what kind of solvency they have. Managing growth is really challenging. And managing this kind of exponential growth is challenging for any kind of a business. And so this depicts that, I mean, you don't really need to know much else, but to see a growth from 5 projects to 15 from one year to the next, or 2.2 to 6.7 in 1 year, that presents a challenge for anybody.
Here's one house that Kouri purchased, the 550 house. She purchased it for $215,000. She was able to sell this price for $404,000. And after taking out all the costs and repaying her borrowed funds, she actually made a profit of $47,000, and that's pretty good. But let's go to the other houses. The next house is the Mill Creek house, where she purchased for $650,000. Now, she lost, if you go to the very bottom, the net profit or net loss, she lost about $155K on this property. Here's the Midway Mansion, also called Legacy Way. She purchased it for $2.9 million. She borrowed about $3.2 million. Now, from this one, if you look at the bottom, she lost about $469,000 from this. Here's what she lost total.
She lost $469,000 plus another $460 that you were unable to directly trace to a project.
What? Kouri applied for a loan, and she said she had $200,000 in her bank account. But is this really her balance?
Did you attempt to verify this bank statement?
I did. It shows 2 accounts, not 3, and the total at month end is $15,609.93. Company is C&E Stone Masonry LLC, which is Eric Richins and his business partner's company, and their account is 7664, and this is the account statement for May of 2021.
And what is the ending balance?
The ending balance of those 3 accounts is $210,898.61.
So these were Eric's bank statements. Now, the lender was wondering why Kouri's credit score was so low. It was at 650 because, you know, she had a lot of money in the bank. Here's Kouri's response. She blames it all on her husband, saying that it was his doing a while ago, the bad credit score, and that they're in a process of separation, which both were untrue. In my other videos, I covered how this expert said that Kouri had about over 236 overdrafts. She tried to pay like $300,000 for the payments, and those didn't go through. And then when talking about the loans that Kouri had to pay back, she had these monthly payments of around $2,000 to $4,000. She had these weekly payments of $300. And then she had these 4 loans that she had to pay back. That was $2,100 a day. A day, isn't that crazy? That's fucking wild. Here's Kouri applying for another loan, and she's showing her bank statement has a really high bank account balance. But then again, we find out that it's not her bank account balance.
And then the 3 accounts in the summary section shows that she had $694,730.15 at the month end, August of 2021, and the total of the 2 accounts is $1,893.94.
So she tried to say that her bank account balance was $94,000, but Miss Expert here was like, I found her real bank account balance is actually 1.8.
C&D Stone Masonry's account 7664 in January of 2021, and there are 3 accounts collectively at month end, $694,730.15.
I already went over this portion in the video that I did covering Brooke Carrington's testimony, but I'm going to talk about it again. So this is funding options for Kouri Richins as time goes on. So initially she would have money, or, you know, she would get other sources of money to buy these homes. And then she would get money that she borrowed from people to rehab them. But at some point, though, she would use the money that's allocated for rehab to just buy the houses outright. And then she wouldn't have any money left over to essentially rehabilitate them.
As a forensic accountant, have you formed an opinion as to Kouri Richins' financial position on March the 5th, 2022, after closing on the Midway Mansion?
Yes.
What is your opinion?
As of the date that Eric Richins died, Kouri Richins was in financial distress, and her financial enterprise was collapsing, had been collapsing, and but for a significant infusion of cash and capital would have continued to collapse. It was imploding. Her debts and liabilities far outweighed her assets, and even if she had sold everything she had, it would not have been enough to get back to zero.
All right, let's get to cross-examination. I did not cover cross-examination when I posted the video with the forensic accountant, so here it is.
How much have you been paid by the state or by the county?
I don't know exactly, but it's probably about $200,000, which is a lot.
The defense counsel tries to make a point of saying that, well, if Kouri had such a bad habit of bouncing checks, why didn't they just kick her out of the bank?
Wondering about why would they allow her to continue going if she's bouncing all these checks. Financial institutions don't look at just this account or just the accounts by this person. They look at the relationship. And so we've also got Eric and C&E Masonry and whatever else. And so they will look at it from a business point of view. They don't want to kick her out.
So in direct testimony, she also mentions how the numbers that Kouri was giving to her accountant to file for taxes were unreliable because Kouri was lying about it. And, you know, maybe even though you're paying for more taxes at the end of the day because you're reporting all these profits, maybe you just want to make it seem like you are a successful business. She didn't really say it directly, but when Bloodworth was asking her, you know, in generalities, that's what came out.
And you stated through Mr. Bloodworth that it's possible she did this just to look successful to people.
That is not what I said. Okay. And a note about the 2019 tax return, I don't know if it was ever filed.
Well, that's a good point.
I do know that she prepared it, and she did submit it to the government as part of her PPP loan forgiveness.
It's pretty hard to argue the whole reason she way overpaid her taxes was to look successful to people if she never shared it with anyone. Fair?
No, because you're talking about just that one tax return.
Now, to address Kouri stealing her husband's bank statements and then using it to pretend they were hers by putting her real estate header on top of it, this is how the defense is going to combat that.
So if her responsibilities were taken away from her by 2021, do you have any knowledge of how she would have gotten those C&E bank statements?
My understanding is the family computer at the house was actually the a C&E laptop, I should say. And I don't know if it was the C&E, but it was a C&E.
So she could have pulled it off her husband's computer, right?
That's possible.
Or her husband could have pulled it off his computer and handed it to her.
He could have. That would have been a really curious thing for him to do.
Okay. But you don't know.
No.
All right.
I don't think it really cures anything because it's still not her bank account statement.
Is it fair to say that someone who's not a you, someone who's a me, who barely can balance their checkbook, that we judge our success on what we report to the IRS every year? Did we make money? Did we lose money? Is that fair?
1 second, please, Carrington.
Kind of calls for speculation, not sure foundation, not sure where we're going, really.
I'll give Ms. Nestor some limited latitude. Let's see where this goes, Ms. Nestor.
Is that fair that the average person that's not a financial expert, if you said, did you have a good year financially, you look at your taxes and say, yeah, I made money this year?
I think first it would be, do I have money in my bank account? Can I pay for groceries after I pay my car payment?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That sort of thing, if you're talking about just the average kind of concerns that a person or family would have. I will say yes, that what you're talking about does play into that. I don't know if that's the first place I would look. I'd look at my day-to-day, but I think I understand what you're saying, and I would say that that's part of it.
Okay.
I think she was so busy running her business, acquiring properties, trying to fix them up, acquiring funding, capital, wherever she could grab it, that the tracking of finances was completely just not on the priority list.
And you don't have any personal knowledge as to how involved Eric was with her, if she talked with him about it every night, if she talked with him about it every morning. You don't know?
No, I do not.
And did you even know that the day he died, he was out working on one of her properties, spreading gravel? Did you even
I do know that.
Okay.
Then it's just getting a little unhinged on the defense's side with the questioning.
You're here to do that, to come up with your conclusion that at the time that Eric died, she was financially, I believe your words were, in distress. That's your conclusion?
Yes.
Okay. And certainly you would agree with me that every single person who's in financial distress does not opt for a solution of murder to fix their distress.
Objection.
Is that fair?
Your objection, Mr. Bloodworth. Sustained.
Okay. If in fact Ms. Richins was in financial distress, that does not, you're not here to say she killed her husband, are you?
That's for the jury to decide. I am not making any conclusion about that at all.
Because you don't have any knowledge about that at all.
Well, that's
Objection, Your Honor.
That's answered. Sustained.
Do you have any knowledge personally about whether or not on the night of March 3rd, Eric Richins voluntarily ingested fentanyl?
Asked and answered.
Wait, that question that I just asked?
When she said she doesn't know anything about that, she meant she doesn't know anything about that.
Okay. And nothing in all the 100 and some thousand pages that you reviewed, did you ever see any statement by Kouri Richins written down to anyone, to any of our investors, to anybody, saying, I know how I'm going to fix this problem, I'm going to kill my husband, and then I'll have plenty of money?
Objection, Your Honor.
Did you ever see any of that?
Overruled. Ms. Carrington, you can answer the question.
There's an email between her and Mount Strong where she talks about the inconvenience of being married.
Okay, so does that answer the question I just asked you?
You've asked, I'm not trying to create anything, but you said, is there anything that indicated anything? And, you know, I don't talk like that.
So, apart from an email that she sent saying it was inconvenient being married, have you ever seen any suggestion in anything in writing that Kouri's financial plan was to collect on life insurance and pay all this money off? Have you ever seen that?
To collect the life insurance to pay everything off? No.
Thank you.
Did you see any evidence that Eric Richins or C&E was investing in her business?
Not really. There's the Franson Lane house in Oakley.
So Eric did give Kouri money to help flip this house. However, this was after he found out that she took out the HELOC against the home. So he was probably panicking at this point and was trying to quickly find ways to get that money being paid back to him. Wouldn't surprise me if he invested in this one property, because apparently she said that it seems like he wasn't anticipating in participating in Kouri's project and that he joined in the middle of it. So possibly helping Kouri as like maybe like a bailout.
I don't see any indicator that C&E or Eric was an investor or a participant in any of the transactions. He's not on any of the bank accounts. He's not on any of the real estate documents or loans or anything like that.
In cross-examination, the defense was trying to say that, yes, Kouri purchased this Midway mansion for $2.9, but Kouri, you know, she wasn't able to sell it because she got arrested. And didn't it end up selling for $3.4 million in auction? So was Kouri really in destitute, as you say you were? However, when the state provides this explanation for it, it just makes the defense look so bad.
You said at some point through various trust sales, trust auctions, the house sold for $3.4 million.
That's right.
And before that, it was foreclosed on. Do you know when it was foreclosed on?
It was foreclosed in May of 2023.
So between purchase March 5th, 2022, and foreclosure on May of 2023, did the $3.2 million in debt on the house stay static?
No.
Did it grow?
It did. The clauses in the lending agreements, for example, the loan, the $2.6 million that the Sierra West and Mount Strong loaned to her, that loan agreement says you've got 6 months to repay this $2.6 million plus 15% interest. So it's due on September 4th of 2022. That's 6 months. And then the loan agreement also says if that does not happen, then there's a 2% default fee. And then that's about $50,000 tacked onto it. And then every month after that, it's another 2% that is tacked onto it. And it's still accruing interest. So, and it's capitalized, which makes a big difference. It's not just something else that's out there. It makes the loan principal larger. So that also increases the interest. And upon default, it goes from 15%, which is already expensive, to 28%. So the whole thing just kind of blows up.
So at the point Matt Strong and Sierra West foreclosed on Kouri Richins, how much did she owe on the Midway mansion?
Let me think back. I think it's about $3.8 million at that time that she owed, that she owed on that note, and then it grew after that. Continued to grow after that.
And remember, Kouri was not arrested until a year after. She had the whole time to try to sell the house and she was unable to. And there was also the mention of how there were offers on the house, but I think 10 of them fell out because of, I think, during contingency. This part in recross, I thought was kind of interesting. We'll share it with you guys.
Also, did you account for Kouri Richins' life insurance policies and their cash value anywhere in your asset evaluation?
No, because she's alive.
Okay, but you understand that some life insurance policies you can draw down out of, right?
I understand what you're talking about, but I think
So can you answer my question? Anywhere in your evaluation,
No.
did you include life insurance value that Kouri Richins holds on herself?
No.
All right. Did you also check on Eric Richins' life insurance policies if they were like whole life, where you can draw down out of them?
They are not whole life.
Okay, they're all term.
Yes.
We have testimony that someone went on Eric's business life insurance policy and tried to change the beneficiary from Eric to Kouri Richins.
And in this particular case, it appeared to be coming from whose email address?
Kouri Richins.
Okay, and her email, do you recall what that one was?
Kouri Richins, I'm not quite sure what it may have been at gmail.com or AOL, I'm not sure.
So we established that the email used was kouririchins@gmail.com. However, the defense is going to show that at some point, it seems like Eric did use Kouri's Hotmail account. But this is when Eric and Kouri purchased life insurance together. It could have just been the agreement to just have Kouri's email as a contact. So I don't know if it really shows that Eric was using Kouri's email during this time. But I guess it could be a way for the jury to entertain that, well, maybe when, 3 years later, when those changes were made to the beneficiary, maybe it was Eric. But that could have been easily cleared up back then. They would have just asked Eric if he was the one who logged in, and it wouldn't be an issue right now. So today's a fun day for day 8. The defense is going to move for a mistrial, and then there's also a complaint made by the defense team. Now, the judge, he's having quite of a spicy day, I would say.
The text messages between her and Detective Maynard that I asked her about, what's in these text messages should have been available. I could have used this on cross-examination. It's different than what she testified to. This is giglio that was not given to us, and we moved for a mistrial.
Okay, pause. So you're calling it giglio information because you believe it is information that is material to impeachment of one of the state's witnesses?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any basis to say that the state had it before Ms. Lauber was put on the stand?
Well, this was information that we requested. It was information we requested when we tried to get...
Answer my question.
Yeah.
I love this judge. Just go straight to the point, please.
Yes, it belonged to Detective Maynard. Detective Maynard had this information and sent an email to Mr. Bloodworth about the violation prior to the trial starting.
Mr. Bloodworth.
I'm not entirely sure what text message this defense received this morning. It was not from me. I had not heard of it until just now. I understand that about 10 days ago, the defense submitted a grandma request to the sheriff's office asking for information related to the supervision of Carmen Lauber.
By Mr. Maynard?
They asked for any information on all supervision. Okay. The supervision was by Eric Maynard.
Yeah.
I think they're referencing a violation of probation involving she was caught with an alcoholic beverage. Is that what we're talking about?
That's correct.
I provided that information to defense maybe 3 weeks ago in an email.
Okay. Ms. Lewis, I'm not going to shoot from the hip on this. You also put this in a written motion so I can see it all with the timeline and the content. Let the state respond to it.
Yes, I can. I will just state for the record, the email about the alcohol violation was sent to Mr. Bloodworth November 15th, 2023.
Well, but what about Mr. Bloodworth's email to defense that he just referenced?
I saw no such email.
Okay, well, we'll get into it, but you've got to put this in writing.
I know that it is always tradition that the state gets to sit closest to the jury in every trial I've ever been in. That's the case, and we actually prefer it that way. But we are getting reports from individuals who are watching this matter on television that particularly yesterday, but also previously to yesterday, that members of the prosecution team are making faces at the jury during our cross-examinations, and we would ask that
With respect, I have a better view of this than any of the cameras. I haven't seen anything like that.
Okay, well, we've asked for the timestamps, and we're going to try to provide it to the court, but all I'm asking is just a gentle admonishment that that's not appropriate and to try to refrain from doing that to the extent that is happening. Also, the second concern that I have is when Mr. Bloodworth is tendering the witness to the defense, he's making a statement that I believe the defense will have questions for you. We do believe that's, I'm sure it's not intentional, but it's burden shifting, and we would ask that he not make that statement at the conclusion. We're not required to ask them any questions. So we would just ask that that no longer be stated to the witnesses in the presence of the jury.
Yeah, as a matter of law, I don't view that as any instruction to the jury or comment regarding burden shifting. If you stand up and say you have no questions, you have no questions. I'm not going to admonish anybody for anything that isn't happening. The only faces I've seen are counsel at me. And so I think we're well within the proper bounds of appropriate conduct from what I can see from here. Right. Anything else?
We'll submit it in a motion, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
Judge is like, I don't see you guys making faces at the jury, but y'all motherfuckers are making faces at me. This is the life insurance policy that was taken out on Eric Richins a few months before he died. So you guys can see the left side is Kouri Richins, but on the right side is Eric Richins with a P.O. box. That's the same as Kouri's address, not their marital home address. There's no email address. And then also the primary phone number, from what I remember in pre-trial, apparently one of the digits is off. So it seems like Eric would not be able to know about this.
We received a call from Ms. Richins, and she wanted the status of the claims, and so we provided the status.
Kouri needs the death certificate for twofolds. One is to get the insurance payout, and then two, the Richins family, remember on that phone call, Kouri said that they will hold on to the house until they find out how Eric died.
Say the cause of death was?
Drug intoxication, fentanyl.
Okay.
The P.O. boxes that we saw You just receive those from the credit union. You don't have any knowledge about who has access to those, right?
No.
You assume, obviously, that the individuals you're sending out the mailer is going to get the mailer you sent out, correct?
Yes.
And in this case, they did, correct?
Yes.
And it got returned to you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You also, your office, sent out requests for medical records, correct?
Yes.
For Mr. Richins.
Yes.
And you received those back, correct?
We did.
And in there, you did highlight anything or identify anything in terms of prior drug use, correct?
That's correct.
And in this case, marijuana came up, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're downplaying the P.O. Box address, saying that, well, Eric could have had access to it. Is it really ominous? And then lastly, they're still pushing the narrative about Eric and THC. Our next witness is Christina Miller, a divorce attorney that Eric consulted with back in October 2020 when he found out about the HELOC that Kouri had taken on the house without his permission. Now, they talked about how he discussed the terms of divorce and he was asked about custody, but she did find it weird that Eric didn't really go into more details about holidays, scheduling, if they were to have custody. Eric was more worried about estate planning, like what were to happen if Eric died. We also learned from cross-examination that Eric was making $33,000 a month.
He didn't want us to communicate with him by email. That happened a little bit later, but because he was worried that Kouri would be reading his emails. He wanted to leave everything to his kids if possible. He said that all his tangible personal property, things you can touch and feel, like your furniture, your jewelry, your collections, would pass directly to his sons, who were all very young at the time, and that's unusual. Usually he passes directly to the spouse.
Now, to me, it seems like it's not like he wanted to leave Kouri in destitute if something were to happen to him. He did create something called a Q-tip for Kouri, where Kouri would be provided for, but just not her household expenses, and she would still be able to live in the house with her children. However, he just really wanted to make sure that his money was protected and it was for his children when they grow up.
When you were explaining to Kouri Richins that the house belonged in the trust, how did she react?
Oh, not positively. She was livid. She was upset, and she said, "What is wrong with you people?" and handed the phone back to the officer, I believe.
Here are some parts of cross-examination that I didn't think went really well for the defense.
The goal of revoking this power of attorney that had existed before was that Kouri couldn't be trusted to utilize it well.
Why would you ask that?
And why couldn't she be trusted to utilize it well?
Because she had she had misused it to take $250,000 out in his name, and he did not like that.
Totally fair. Mr. Richins did not want you to communicate with him directly, right?
By email directly.
Right. And is that because he and his wife shared an email account?
I believe counsel is asking this because remember earlier when someone logged in on Kouri Richins' email and then tried to make those changes on the beneficiary, I think counsel's trying to say that, like, oh, look, it seems like they shared email addresses.
I don't know. It was E. Richins, I think. I don't think they shared an email account. I don't know.
Okay. So you just don't know.
It was not because they shared an email. What he told me was not because they shared an email account. It was because she snooped in his email.
Okay. So she had access to his email at least. So you don't know whether Kouri Richins knew there was a trust before he died?
It was apparent that she didn't.
I'm sorry. Do you have any personal knowledge as to whether Kouri Richins knew before his death that there was a trust in place?
No, I have no personal knowledge of that.
Okay. I want to talk about the intake form that...
But I mean, based on how she described Kouri's reaction, the jury's going to be like, I mean, it seems like a no shit that she didn't fucking know. That's why she flipped out like that. Our next witness, Josh Grossman. This is the guy that Kouri was having an affair with.
Mr. Grossman, good afternoon. If you step in front of Brittany, we'll get you sworn in.
Are they going to look at each other? Okay, she's looking
Do you
at
solemnly
him.
swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the pains and penalties of perjury?
Sir, do you swear to tell the whole truth under the pains and penalties of perjury, yes or no?
I won't lie. I'll tell you.
Sir, are you okay? Just say yes or no. What is happening here? Why is he giving like a whole why are you giving a whole statement? Kouri looks like he's smirking right now.
Mr. Grossman, do you understand the difference between what's true and what's not true?
I do.
Do you promise, under the pains and penalties of perjury, to tell the truth when you're asked questions?
Absolutely.
Anything further, Mr. Bloodworth?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Could you bring the jury back?
Josh says that he's known Kouri for about a decade and they met in South Carolina. He responded to an ad and helped her flip homes. He moved to Utah to be with her, it seems, around early 2020 when COVID was, in his quotes, kicking off. Apparently, she took care of him. She gave him money. He liked her, and he said he worked for free. She also purchased him 2 trucks. Now, when asked if he loved her, he was like, yes. Did you feel like she loved you? He was like, yeah. I have a tendency to just go head over heels for people that I'm into, which we can see in these text messages. Josh writes to K Babe, when I don't get much from you, I just figured it's because you're doing things that you know I wouldn't like and would hurt me. It is draining to love you and pretend to be an idiot. I don't want to avoid things with people I love, thoughts or problems. I want to communicate until we know each other better and solve stuff together, not by myself, for each other. Like and love you today. I live too much through this phone No! Like and love you today. I live too much through this phone though. I'm tired, babe. He says, can't text it. This texting shit sucks. Several things. All right, Josh, elucidate. If you lived one day with my phone, you would get it. Oh, Josh is like, babe, I need a new cell phone. Babe, this Motorola phone ain't working for me. Give me that iPhone Pro Max you got over there. I'm going to have a separate video where I read all the text messages. So we're just going to cover the highlights of this so far because it's a lot. She says, in quotations, it's draining to love you. My heart is burning with sadness to read that. Like it popped out of my chest and someone is stomping on it. I'm sorry, I'm draining to love. I know this would come one day. Just was hoping it wasn't today or anytime soon because I love you. I love talking to you, being with you, laughing, joking, venting, and being overly happy with news I got today. The sense of never feeling judged with you. I'm just so comfortable around you. I don't have that in my marriage. I really enjoy my relationship and love for you. But you're right. We both know this love triangle can't go on forever. You don't deserve it. I don't deserve you. I can't expect you to sit around for the day the trigger gets pulled because who knows when that's going to be. Oh, a trigger gets pulled. Well, at least Eric wasn't shot then. I tried and failed. I can't expect you to sit home and wonder what I'm doing or my home life or when I might call you next or see you. That is so beyond selfish of me. You're right. It cuts off. So December 18. Remember, December is when Kouri reaches out to Carmen and asks for drugs. Is it possible that Josh was starting to feel down? Kouri was starting to realize how much is affecting Josh. And she's like, hey, I need to do something to get rid of Eric right now. She says, sorry I didn't see it until then. What a damn selfish person I am. How could I think someone like you would be okay with this for the rest of forever until I pull my head out of my ass? How selfish not to step away, let you live your life without the constant wonder. Your love is draining. I'm sorry, babe. You're right. It has to be exhausting. How dare me be okay with that? That mental and physical stress on you. I'm sorry, babe. Maybe saying goodbye earlier than later is better. I'm sorry you have to work so late. I shouldn't have kept you so late this morning. Again, selfish. Wow, I'm just so sorry. I'm just realizing this. I feel like an idiot. Don't text back. No words needed. Finish up work and get some rest. We can talk later. Good night. All right. She sounds pretty, nice. Josh is like, love triangle. Baby, what do you mean by that? I don't get it. Well, I'm married. You, me, our relationship. I don't know what else to call it. I'm in love with a man that's not my husband. ... I threw the last half the sentence off because it's almost as bad as the first, pretend to be an idiot. I took that as, are we ever going to address the elephant in the room and recognize what's really going on here? The bigger picture. Profess my love for Eric? What? That's not what I'm saying either. You took love triangle and changed it around to professing my love for Eric. Josh is so confused. When that's not what I want at all. I'm telling you, I'm in love with a man that's not my husband. That's 3 people. Want to make a circle with 3 people? You just did it the exact thing I did. Assumed and misinterpreted text. If you love me now, then ending it sooner will be good for one reason only. Because if you don't, you're going to fall in love with me in ways you never thought you could. That is a guarantee. Speaking of guarantee, last night but no mean counts as your guarantee. It was not stated as such prior, so it doesn't count. You would never literally be chopped liver to me. Absolutely not true. I had an epiphany of selfish person I really am. And that's the only epiphany I had. The day you yelled at me on the phone, you said I was selfish. And I was offended by that. And now I understand why you said that. Why I felt so mad because it's true. You're right. If we don't end things, I would fall deeper and more in love with you than I already am. Which is going to be even harder. ... Okay. ... I'll take it. Doesn't count. Guarantee for the 3rd? Maybe that'll be more of a date to remember than just celebrating Christmas and a guarantee. I know your fingers hurt. I know you're working. I can try and get away tomorrow for a phone call. I think we're going to need it. He also wants a new phone, babe. If you're going to be mad at me, you need to come see me and do it in person. If you're going to say goodbye forever because that's what you want, do it in person. Or better yet, just love me. Love me like you have no choice in the matter. I want to be my best for you. I want to be ourselves for each other. I'm not mad at anything. I promise. Saying goodbye. We promised to do in person. I know it was coming and happening the day it happens. It's not what I want to do, but it's not always fair to you in any way because I want you. We can't break up my family. It's having your cake and eating it too. I do just want to love you. I do love you. I love our love too. It's my favorite. Do I think we could be great together? Yes, of course I do. You're one of my best friends, babe. No, ma'am. I thought you were getting a divorce. Oh, Kouri's like, I can't break up my family for you. And he's like, I thought you were divorcing. That's what I'm saying. Oh, she writes back. That's what I'm saying. What if it's like in a year? You're just supposed to sit around and wait for me? No, I would never ask you to. Oh, what do we call these again? Wait a second. We used to do this as kids. Oh my gosh. Josh made a little, is it anagram? What do you call these again? He writes, I love you. K, kind. O, outgoing. U, unique. R, romantic. I, inches away from signing her divorce papers and falling madly in love with her soulmate. I did not expect that. Good night, Lima Bean. I agree with you. Kouri does have a Lima Bean head. When I was little, I grew up scrubbing other people's toilets in Park City at rich people's houses after school. Christmas breaks, all summer, I worked for my aunt's company. I was just always looked down upon because you're literally the person cleaning toilets. I always said to myself and my aunt, one day I'll own properties in Park City like all these rich, snooty people, and I will never be like them. That's true. She never ended up like them because she was a scammer. Tomorrow, I close on 3 properties, all on the same day, 2 being in Park City. That is a huge deal to me. Biggest accomplishment to date career-wise. It's never been about the money. It's always been about being able to say, I too have properties in PC, and you're not better than anyone the way you treat people, and I can prove it. Tomorrow's a really big deal for me, self-accomplishment-wise, to sit and reflect and be thankful. So I just want to sit for a minute and celebrate with someone and have a drink. No one really knows about the PC properties. They won't mean gets cut off. So this is the narrative that the state was saying that Kouri, she had a lot to lose because she wanted to portray herself as someone who was successful. Successful, smart, rich. So this is, 2 months before Eric dies? Kouri writes, random question. Have you ever done anything besides smoke weed, drug-wise, ... He writes back, yeah, pretty random. We've already had this talk. No, we haven't. I would have remembered. I'm just curious. Yes, we have. More than once, too. The first time was at Chili's. Me, you, and Ronnie. Oh! Ronnie the brother! So Ronnie knew about the affair? Or were they hanging out with Ronnie and Ronnie didn't know something was up with Josh and Kouri? Kouri says, well, what did you say? Yes, I've done other things. Not all of them, not often. Okay, so he wasn't like a drug addict. At least right now. And you? It's not a big deal. I was just wondering. I'm starting a new series, Dope Sick Tonight, that just came out a few months ago. That's what made me wonder. When was the last time? Nope, not me. Something's up. I don't recall. Are you sure? Prescriptions count. ... Like years ago? Nope. Well, prescriptions count. Well, if prescriptions count, then when I had Weston, I think it's like one of her kids. I don't recall. Is it an answer? How could you not remember? I have a cabinet full of all sorts of prescriptions, but not my thing. Years ago. Cabinet full and not my thing isn't an answer. What's for dinner? How was that not an answer? I answered perfectly. My prescription, no prescription since I had Weston, and even though I wouldn't take them, so I stored them in my cabinet. Just pain pills. They're still there. Pills and drugs are not my thing. Wait, so you're telling me you stored all these pain pills in your cabinet and Eric wasn't stealing them and using them? I thought Eric was an addict. She also writes, if prescriptions count, then years ago for drugs and prescriptions for you? Why is she asking? What was the point of this? So Valentine's Day, this is the morning where Eric was possibly poisoned with an egg sandwich, but who knows? She writes, Good morning. I'll call you when I'm headed down. Carpooling now, then have to run home and make a quick finger food for Carter's V-Day class party. Drop off at school and then I'll hit the road probably 9:40. There's an attachment that she sends, which is a screenshot of, I think, the GPS navigation, maybe with like the estimated time of arrival. I love you. Want to be my Valentine's? Sorry, they're like trying to zoom in. I can take a no. That's okay. ... Oh, so this is after they hung out? Oh gosh, I think this is after they hung out on Valentine's Day. He writes this. My heart is smiling. When those 3 words come from you, it's very unique. Different than any time I've heard them before. Your feelings, when coming from you, bring up the different feelings in me. Your love reminds me how much God loves me. Reminds me that I, my mom's son, am secretly the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Gives me immense amount of appreciation, gratitude, and honor. I wouldn't trade your love in for a million of ... You name it, whatever is the best. Darling, you better believe that I'll be one of your Valentines. Will you be my Valentine tonight? I was writing this on the way to Salt Lake. I know you just feel the need to apologize, but just so you know, I like to see you on phone calls. I like to see you watch you text, to hear you read aloud. I see beauty, intelligence, quick wit, cuteness, and authenticity. It's like seeing a white tiger in a tropical forest instead of remembering one at the zoo. I love it. Babe, I miss you. I want you today, every day, not just sexually, but physically, mentally. Every day I wake up, I do want a future together. I do want you. Figure life out together. If he could just go away, and you could just be here, life would be so perfect. I love you. I don't know what my deal is today. I'm sorry. So what happens to Eric? What, 2 weeks after this? Oh, babe, there's nothing more than I want to be with you now. No matter what's going on, I love your company. I know that a lot of the times, the time we spent together has somewhat of a cloud hanging overhead. I really look forward to quality time with you that isn't rushed and doesn't have goodbye lurking around the corner. This is the most miserable person I've seen on the stand. He's like, get me off of here. They have to relive these text messages. I feel so bad. What's important about these messages? That they love each other, they're professing their love for each other?
Sir, would you like to take a break?
I know. Mr. Blotterworth is like, something's going on with Josh. He's like up there, he's like muttering to himself. He like whispered apologies to the judge. Like, Josh, are you okay? Did you eat something weird? Did you have Chipotle? Your stomach feeling a little funky?
Sir, would you like to take a break?
Mr. Grossman, level with me. Do you need a minute or two?
I don't know what I need, man.
Let's just start with that. Why don't we take pause for a moment, sir, if you don't mind. Let's take a 5-minute break, please. Please rise for the jury.
Oh, maybe it's just a little bit overwhelming and he just feels a little emotional. Oh, that's kind of sad. You okay, Mr. Grossman?
Please have a seat. Mr. Grossman.
Yes.
I'm going to let you take a few minutes. Collect yourself. You're welcome to walk around the lobby. You're welcome to use the restroom. Do not speak to anyone. All right?
Nobody in here?
Nobody in here. And in fact, I'm going to ask everybody that's in here to just sit tight for 5 minutes so we don't have any ambiguity about whether anybody is interacting with Mr. Grossman while he just takes a short break. Feel free to stretch your legs. There are going to be more questions. I just need you to be present, able to listen.
All right.
Fine. Take 5 minutes. Don't talk to anybody. Okay?
If I was a member in the audience, I'd be like, no, Judge, I need to go potty. I need to go use the bathroom.
Go stretch your legs for a second.
I feel like I got something I want to say.
Yeah, but you're going to have to wait and just answer questions that are asked, okay?
Okay, I'm ready, though.
You sure?
You
sure you don't want to stretch your legs?
That ain't the legs that
All right.
I need to stretch.
Well, I'm going to sit here for a minute and just answer an email and take a deep breath, okay?
I'm cool with that.
All right.
Is he okay?
After you take 5 breaths, will you line the jury back up? Thank you.
Maybe a little bit of anxiety? Does he just want to blow up on her?
It's important that you just wait for the question asked, okay? I appreciate that, sir.
Kouri over there just casually eating. Kouri gave no two shits about you, sir. She just casually eating over there.
Well, whenever they're lined up, you can bring her.
She ain't even looking at him. I don't think so. An indirect role in Eric's death? No, man, it's all on Kouri. But I mean, it could be on your consciousness, I guess. I could see that maybe. Hey, Chai. Yeah, I forgot about these glasses, so I started wearing them again. The screw is still loose, though, which is really annoying. All right, well, I'm just gonna sit here and just watch. I don't want to fast forward through this. We're just gonna watch.
Folks, please have a seat. Thank you.
She says, I have a crazy dream. You quit your job, I divorce, come up with millions and millions, we buy Midway, live in the guest house, rent out the huge house as a big event center, $15,000 a day like they charge down the road, maybe $12,000 to stay competitive, and we'll just run the event center as our daily job and hang out every day, raise some kids, have a little farm, deal. Leaving around 10 a.m., I think. First game is at 6:30. Staying at my father-in-law's house down there, ... Haha, well, Carter and Weston's would be because they don't have any cavities at the dentist. Huh? Would be they didn't have any cavities at the dentist. Okay. Ashton would be how he kicked someone's butt at practice today. I'm sure. My random thought or idea is above. Share something with you, like what am I wearing? When should we go to CA? When are we going to see each other again? Haha. Or your curious mind could just ask me, ? So this is before she bought the Midway mansion. She hasn't bought it yet. She will buy it in a few days. You're so cute. Not a big deal. Adam didn't come through in the funding for Midway. Matt did, though. He's going to fund it for me. I just need to put down $300K. Oh, money that you ain't got. But good news is it's really getting funded. That's all. Boys are almost home. I wish you were here. I want you on me. Good night, babe. Oh, gosh, I don't think he knew anything. Wow, that's great news. Good job, Core. I love your name, babe. Can you lean on private money for that? We'll talk about it whenever you want. Well, I'm super sad I didn't get to see you today. That I'm not your whatever you want now. Looking forward to our time. All right, what date is this? I don't see the date. Hey, cutie. Yeah, everything is good. My body disagreed with my mind yesterday. Before I went to work and sat down to eat that hush puppy thing. And that's all I can recall until 11 p.m. What day was this? He also had some sort of food poisoning from eating a hush puppy? Was she there? Kind of odd. We are getting closer to Eric's death, about a day or two before. I just can't believe this. I want to celebrate with you. Well, Friday, when it's officially closed, recorded, and we're done. So this is about a day or two before Eric's death. All right. Whose message is this? This is from Matt. It's a screenshot. Oh, she sent this to Mr. Grossman. All right, so Matt writes, okay, cool. So this is how I propose my end with Burns now coming in with 400. Sierra West, funding of $2.5 million. Loan amount of $2.625. ATM, Michael Burns, funding of $400,000. Loan amount of $420,000. That will get you 100% finance on the purchase. Then you can decide if you want to use any of other monies you've already raised for closing costs. Maybe you won't end up needing these folks. Why were they letting her borrow money? Did they not go through her business records? Did they not see if she profited on like all the other properties? I'm sorry you're having such a bad/sad day. I know you miss Panda and Redacted, and work isn't going as you want. To me, you're worth millions a year. I'm honored to be your friend, best friend, actually. Love her. Go to life is going to be different, I promise. You're one hell of a patient person. I hate your hard days. I wish I could be there to turn them around for you. Can I try Friday? Give me a few days. Hang in there until then, please. Friday. Oh, let's see. March of 2022. Friday. Oh my gosh. Do you know what day Friday is going to be? Friday is the day that Eric is going to be dead. Oh my gosh. So she's telling him to hang on until Friday. That I'm so sorry. You're really fucking miserable. Give me a few days. Can I try Friday? Give me a few days. Hang in there until then, please. She doesn't reply for an hour and a half. He writes, hey, what's going on with you? You good? No. She writes that 2 hours later. Eric passed away. Talk later. No words, turning phone off. Eric passed away last night. No words either. Lost. Nuts. I can't do this. I am devastated. Are you though? Are you devastated? I can't comprehend. I don't know what to say or do. I want you to be safe. You're everyone. What happened? Who are you with? Oh, at least she sounds upset. 3 a.m. I called the ambulance. Been up since then. People, family, friends, still here. Are they? Didn't they leave? Or maybe they came back. They think an aneurysm. Wait. Who? Oh my gosh. I wonder who did she text those gifts to? If it wasn't to Josh Grossman, I'm starting to have a feeling that the family members are really close to Kouri and probably know some stuff. I don't know. Kouri writes to Josh, the Secrets Resorts Hotel, and this was 3/20, 15 days after Eric died. She writes, are we there yet? I'm gonna call. I had 22 cops searching my damn house Wednesday for 8 hours. This shit just keeps getting worse and worse. Your husband passed away and they are trying to figure out what happened to him. Do you not care? Do you not want to figure out what happened to him? Searching your house for what? The autopsy report isn't done yet, but the toxicology report came back and he had a trace of fentanyl in his system. I didn't even know what the hell that was until they showed up at my door. Oh, that's what. That's why she pretended to not know what fentanyl was. I think it was in the body cam footage and it was also in his text message. However, Carmen was like, no, she knew what fentanyl was. You know, I told her that I only had fentanyl and she was like, yeah, get the fentanyl for me. So this is her pretending not to know what fentanyl was. I didn't even know what the hell that was until they showed up at my door. My attorneys are fighting it because they detained me. No reading my rights. They ever told me why they were at my house, what the hell they were looking for. I was like, what the fuck? They had a search warrant and everything. This is so fucking ridiculous. And all that drug dogs and everything, and they didn't find a damn thing but Eric's weed gummies. Congratulations, idiot. They were so disappointed. My attorney said in order to get a search warrant, they would have to get some sort of proof of crime was committed, whether it's drugs being sold in and out of my house or me having something to do with this shit. I don't know. Even know what the fuck that is. I thought it was cocaine. The detective isn't corrected me. They took all the electronics out of my house, even my kids' stuff. Oh, she does not know. She doesn't care. She doesn't care to know what happened to Eric. Eric does not do fucking drugs. Oh! I thought you said Eric did do drugs. Wait, I thought Eric went to Mexico to do drugs. So now you're saying Eric doesn't do drugs? That's what she told law enforcement too. But you know what? Her story fucking changed. Eric does not do fucking drugs. He had a shit of edibles 4 to 5 times a week, but rarely even drank. This is absurd. They don't even have a COD yet. Cause of death. How can they just jump to all this bullshit before we even know? Ronnie swears the gummies are laced with it because it was a new pack. This is all just fucking stupid and crazy. Okay, well, if the gummies are laced with it, aren't you glad law enforcement search your fucking house? That way they can test it to see if that's how Eric actually died. So Ronnie's the one that said the gummies were laced. Did Ronnie really say that? Or did you say that, Kouri?
So did there come a time after Eric Richins' death when you met up with Kouri?
Yes.
Do you recall the first time?
Yes.
About when was that?
I'd guess 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that.
What happened when you met up with him?
I forget where we met, but we rode up into the Uinta Mountains together.
Did you talk about Eric?
Yes. Yeah, that was the first opportunity to really, that was the first time.
Did there come a time during that discussion that Kouri Richins asked you about killing?
Do you want me to contextualize it?
Please.
So yeah, you know, we sat there and talked for quite a while, you know, and I'd never seen her that way, obviously. It was a heavy conversation, and I'm not used to that with her. She's not used to being open like that. So at one point, my opinion then, probably still now, looking back, was that, you know, she was looking for any reason. I think she was exhausted emotionally. And I think she was looking for a reason to divert the conversation away from herself, because she does that. She does that about lots of things in every normal life, you know. And I think that's what she did. She asked me, go ahead, I'll let you ask. I know you.
Sure.
But
Did she ask you a question about killing?
She did. Ask me yeah.
What sort did she ask?
She asked if I had ever killed anybody.
And was that specific to killed anybody while serving in Iraq?
Right.
Did you respond?
I did.
Did she ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
Sir, what was that follow-up question?
She asked me how it made me feel or something along those lines. And then I answered her. I took it as not out of the normal, though, really.
Not out of the normal?
Did you and Kouri Richins stay romantically involved after Eric Richins' death?
Yes.
For how long?
You'd have to look at my phones to tell me that. I'm going to guess, bless you, 6 months, maybe 8, 10. I don't know what to say. Things weren't the same, so I don't know if that led to us parting ways or what, but there was a lot on both of us, you know what I mean?
Understand.
I think the sentiment for people who are watching his testimony, I feel like they felt pretty sad for him. I really didn't expect him to be like this. All right, now it's time for cross-examination.
Would it be fair to say that the talk about a future together between you and Kouri was really more a fantasy than a realistic expectation?
My opinion? You want my opinion on it?
Sure.
I'd say yeah. Yeah. More of something that maybe I thought I wanted, but didn't necessarily, like I couldn't picture it in the future, you know. We'd gone a year without speaking at that point, and I don't know if I turned on the truck radio and heard she wrote a book and wasn't surprised, but
Wasn't surprised about what?
But then I started, you know, I listened to the interview she gave about her book, and then maybe I did some research on my phone and saw that she had just been arrested, or either she just got arrested, I don't know, days later, a week later.
Okay. And then do you recall who you met with when you talked about this conversation?
After I found that out, I was overwhelmed with, you know, guilt, sorrow over my wrongdoings, you know, infidelity. And, and that's when I called. I was trying to get a hold of Eric's sister to tell her. I don't think she was home. I spoke with her husband instead. Told him what I told him, and he told me, I forget the guy's name, but he said, I think there's somebody that would like to talk to you, and it was the Richins family private investigator. I think I called him immediately after I hung up, spoke with him. I don't recall the ins and outs of the conversation, but he told me that Kouri had done it, you know, that she was guilty. He couldn't tell me why, but she and that changed.
Wait, why didn't the state elicit out this testimony? Oh, poor guy. I didn't know he did all that. I just thought they tracked his ass down and they were trying to get him to speak and he wasn't willing to. I'm so sorry. I made so many assumptions about you, Mr. Grossman.
Changed everything for me, you know. I was blown away, and then I'm like looking at everything in our past with a different set of goggles on, through different lenses, and I was trying to figure out if she did it and I could help that's what I was going to do. And you know, that's
so
sometime after that, it wasn't the first time I met with the investigator. I think it was the second time or something. It dawned on me, oh man, you know, what about that one time she asked me this? What about the time she said that?
Okay,
And
so let me just stop you.
Wow. So then he started looking back and saying, like, were there signs or clues that she did it?
When you and Kouri were together, were you aware that Eric had an affair also?
I was
Girl.
told that.
All right.
First witness of the day, Marie Bramwell. She's a domestic relations attorney who met with Kouri, but not in person. It was a $5,000 retainer, but that retainer was returned. Now, through this witness, or I guess after this witness, the state wants to introduce some jailhouse calls, although the defense has an issue with that.
I guess our objection is that these calls could and should be introduced through an actual witness. Playing them randomly, I think is confusing for the jury.
May we stay focused on this particular call for a moment to tease out your
Is playing randomly confusing for the jury, or are we following timelines here?
position on that? So this is 2-95.
I'd like to look at that again, but I also think that
Hold on, I wasn't finished with my question.
Sorry.
My apologies. This is
take my
2-95.
Yes, sir.
What was the number again?
295D.
Okay, so 2-95D, as I understand it, the state is seeking to play now because it relates to Ms. Richins having contacted Ms. Bramwell. Is that fairly stated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And so I think, as I understand the state's position, playing it at any other time than directly following Ms. Bramwell's testimony would be confusing. That's what I'm gathering from the state's position.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So take it from there, Ms. Lewis.
I'd like to. I haven't looked at this call in a couple of days, so I'd like to look at it. But I also think by introducing these things without a witness on the stand is a violation of our Sixth Amendment right to cross-examine. When we introduce these randomly, we can't cross-examine anyone about these calls.
Well, are you talking about foundation or content? Well, the content, the part that's being admitted for the truth, is your own client's statement. So the confrontation problem doesn't exist there. And if we instruct the jury not to consider the other half of the conversation for the truth, there's no confrontation issue there either.
Well, if they were to call the witness, who is the other half of the conversation, and introduce the call through the witness, then we would have an opportunity to cross-examine regarding the phone call.
But not if the other half of the call isn't being admitted as substantive evidence. They're not admitting the other half of the conversation as substantive evidence about anything. And moreover, I'm going to be instructing the jury that they can't consider the other half of the call as substantive evidence. I think I have to, under the hearsay rule.
Your Honor, I still believe that we need to have the call through a witness. If they were to call the person who testified, the person who's on the other half of the call, then we would have the right to cross-examine them about the content of the call. And we don't know what that evidence would be. There may be more to this call or more context to this call that the individual can explain. By just randomly playing calls, we don't have any opportunity to cross-examine anyone or do anything with these calls, and then the jury just takes these calls as without an opportunity for us to put in any explanation about these calls.
I feel like you're intentionally ignoring the fact that I'll be instructing the jury to not consider the other half of the call. But I understand your position, and you have to acknowledge that you have the power to subpoena the people on the other side of the call if you want to. Focused on the half that the jury would be allowed to consider from each of these calls, and that's your client's own statement.
I need a moment to look at this call again. I haven't looked at it in a couple of days. Is that all right?
Of course.
Are you taking a breaky? Little
Might
breaky?
take me a minute.
Oh! Wait. This is Scott. I feel like I didn't know this is Scott. I had a lot of adoration for the man with the mustache, and I had a lot of adoration for someone named Scott that they kept referring to who's doing all the tech support stuff, but I didn't realize this is Scott. Duh! I thought he was just helping with all the research stuff. I didn't know he was helping with the tech stuff. He's Scott! This guy's Scott! Alright, we have a name for Mr. Mustache Man. I kept calling him 10 Mustache. That's Scott. Hi, Scott. What's going on? We love you over here. So the phone call's coming in, and if the defense wants to subpoena the other person who's on this phone call, which is Kouri's brother, they can do so. Now, Kouri seems really pissed that I guess the state was looking into her consulting with an attorney, maybe possibly about a divorce.
So annoyed by that. Like, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Obviously, if
And
one
it's
party's
kinda like-
going to do it, the other party's probably going to do it to see what the fuck.
Right? And it's like,
common sense.
regarding your side of stuff, nothing came out of that. What came out of the other side?
Exactly.
An illegal transfer of everything.
Yes,
like
exactly.
A lot came out of that.
Yes, I just went in for a consultation. That was it. Did it first.
Guess what? Yeah, he did it first, and not only did he do it first, like, he actually took action on it illegally.
Yes. All I did was, what the hell am I supposed to do? That was literally the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't want to fill out the packet. I don't want absolutely anything. I want to walk away clean and free. I don't want anything. And she kept advising me, no, that's not how this works. You have to fill this out about da-da-da-da. And I said, I don't want to. I don't want any of it.
Yep.
That is what I told that lady. I said, I just want these done. And she argued with me. Forever. I took the packet, I threw it away. I'm like, no, I won't fill this out. Because I don't want to have everything. I'm fucking annoyed by it, though. Like, quit portraying me to be this person.
Yeah.
Anything you're trying to say I did, Eric did. Like, so now they cancel each other out, you fucking idiots. Like,
our next witness is going to be Becky Lloyd. She works for C&E Masonry, and she was actually hired in February 2021, but she met Kouri and Eric back in 2017. They were neighbors, their children played together, and she considered Kouri a friend. Now, she talks about December 17, 2021, where her and Kouri had a conversation together. This is about a few months before Eric dies.
She talked about how she was feeling trapped. She was feeling like there wasn't an easy way forward out of the marriage. She felt like she was worried about her kids. She was worried that she was going to lose them and that Eric was going to take the kids from her and that his family was going to turn the community against her. And she said that in many ways it would be better if he were dead.
What?
What was the tone of court?
Look at Kouri's face. How dare this bitch air my shit out to the world? Now, there's going to be back and forth between cross-examination and then redirect, where we're trying to figure out, did this witness actually hear this from Kouri?
Isn't it fair that in that first interview, you never mentioned anything about saying it would be better off if Eric was dead, did you?
I don't recall.
You don't recall?
I don't recall.
Okay. And then you had a second interview almost 2 years later in March of 2024 with the same investigator. Is that right?
Sounds right.
And then the investigator said, wait, I understand you've talked to Katie and there was something you forgot to tell me the first time we met about a statement Kouri made.
That's true.
And what you forgot to tell him was this part about it, he'd be better off dead, right?
Yes.
Okay. And isn't it fair that in the second interview in 2024, almost 2 years after, you even in that interview told him that you couldn't get on the stand for sure and say that she said that, didn't you?
I do not recall that.
And this part, I swear she said it, but I also feel like if you put me on the stand, I would not be confident enough to actually truly know if she said it. But I swear she said, in many ways, it would be better if he just died.
Is that true?
Because, and I remember thinking, the reason I think, yeah, well, and like I said, that's the conversation we had. And I for sure know she said the trap sucked, and I am 90% sure she said the comment about it being better dead.
Okay, so again, that is the second interview that you had with the investigator. And again, you're saying you can't say for certain that she made that statement, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You also never told that statement to the police when you were interviewed by the police, did you? Until later, much later, like 2024.
I don't know if I got interviewed by the police in 2024.
Okay. All right.
Redirect with the state.
During one of your previous interviews, and do you recall during the rest of that conversation explaining why you remembered Kouri making that statement?
I do.
What's that explanation for why you remembered that specific statement from Ms. Richins?
Well, as someone who's gone through divorce myself or marital troubles, I knew.
Yeah, they were about to play that portion of the audio, but then the defense team cut it off. I wanted to hear the second portion of it. Like, oh, wait, she said that. I'm pretty sure she said it. It's cut off.
Know that it is probably somewhat common to have thoughts that aren't necessarily the nicest about your spouse and to have really strong feelings that way. But I was struck because she said it out loud. And some of those thoughts are what you'd call an inside thought sometimes. And it struck. was memorable for me enough that after I met with the private detective, I went and talked to my friends, and without prompting, I said, hey, remember that conversation I told you about? What did I tell you about it? And they were able to confirm exactly what I said in my statement here, because it is a very big deal, and I respect the justice system very much, that I am never going to get on this stand and say something that I don't know as truth.
Are you confident in your testimony today?
I am.
Those are all my questions.
Thank you.
Decent explanation. Okay. So she was just like, yeah, you know, like, I feel like I probably said it, but then I went to talk to my friends, like, hey, remember we had this conversation? And the friends were like, yeah, you did say that. Recross again with the defense.
So now it's your testimony that you were told about this statement by someone else?
No. My testimony is it is very difficult to say such a thing when someone that you care deeply about has been leveled with such charges. It is very difficult, so that is why it didn't come up in the first interview. It is a very difficult position to be here on the stand saying things like this. I don't want to be here. No one has supplied my testimony to me. No one has made me say anything about that. No one has supplied words to me. I know that that happened, and it is unfortunate that it happened because I don't want to be here saying it, but I know that that is what was said.
And in fact, the friend you're talking about is Kouri Richins, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Didn't you discuss this statement with Kouri Richins, and Katie's the one who sent you to the private investigator?
Katie is the one that made the private investigator aware of it, but that is not who I had the conversation with about it, as far as the truth of the statement.
And then you also had a conversation with some other friends who helped refresh your memory about what you might have said?
They confirmed what I said. They did not supply a sentence to me. They did not do anything like that. They just helped me do a hard thing. Okay.
And I'm sure the jury feels the same way. Hey, witness, I feel you. I don't want to be here either, but I got to be here. You know, I got to serve jury duty. So when we have a witness saying like, yeah, this is like really difficult for me to just be here and talk about Kouri because, yeah, we were really close at some point. I don't want to be here.
Okay. And this was all in 2024 when you brought it up to the investigator?
My friend conversation would have been in 2021, right about the exact same, probably within a couple days of that conversation initially.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, because this is before she talked to Katie. This is before Eric died. So she talked to Kouri. They had this like deep conversation. And then a few days afterwards, she's like, yeah, you know, actually, like I was hanging with Kouri the other day and it was kind of weird because she was like, I wish my husband were dead. So kind of fucking weird.
And you would agree that if Kouri was planning to kill her husband 60 days later, it probably wouldn't be a really smart thing for her to say to you, hey, it'd be better off if he were dead, would it?
Now make your objection that the question is complete, Ms. Shervin.
It doesn't matter now.
Not everyone's a smart killer, you know?
Okay.
Not everyone is sophisticated. Yeah, Kouri, why did you say that? Kouri, why did you delete a bunch of text messages? Kouri, why did you access those memes on the day that Eric died? I don't know. Shit happens, but I mean, good point, I guess, Miss Nestor.
Miss Lloyd, when Kouri Richins told you it would be better if Eric was dead, was she joking?
No.
What was her
speculation, Your Honor? One last question. Were y'all drinking?
How many back and forths are there? We have cross, redirect, recross, redirect, recross. I didn't know you can keep going back and forth like this. I thought at some point it just fucking
We had one beverage. I had one beverage.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. May we allow this witness to step down?
Yes.
All right.
Please.
Well, that was a mess, but I think she did pretty decent on the stand, and I do find her to be credible. Our next witness is going to be the guy who owns the cafe where the egg sandwich was purchased the day that Kouri allegedly poisoned him with his sandwich and left it for him in his truck. He ate it. He broke out in hives, took an EpiPen, and then fell asleep for about like 90 minutes, I think. But you know, I'm gonna jump over to the defense's questioning because I don't think she expected this.
And then what's in the bagel sandwich?
Bacon, egg, and cheese, avocado, and tomato.
Is there mayonnaise or anything on it?
Nope.
So it's a fried egg?
Typically over hard.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, over hard. Yeah, fried egg over hard.
Over
So
hard.
Over
I'm
hard.
sorry.
So not runny.
Got it. So it's a fried egg over hard.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And then pepper jack cheese.
All right. Yeah. And when you get that ready for a to-go order, how do you package it?
It's because it's with hash browns, it'd be in a styrofoam box.
Is that what the defense attorney was not expecting? Because bagel sandwiches, I guess what Eric had, and well, if the eggs are not runny and the eggs were hard, then maybe that's better for the state. Because I'm sure the defense was like, well, if it's a runny egg, would you really eat a runny egg for 2 hours, like 2 hours later? And then she asked whether there's mayo in there. And he's like, nope, there's no mayo. So the fact that the egg was not runny, had no mayo, did the defense not expect that? Or
And it's a hot sandwich, correct?
Yeah.
You certainly wouldn't want to eat an egg sandwich cold. That'd be kind of gross, right?
Debatable, but
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe a cold egg sandwich.
We do a lot of to-go that okay, that's what they want.
Okay, but you give it to them hot.
Absolutely.
All right.
It seems like she wasn't expecting the egg not being runny and then them not having mayo in the sandwich. So then her last resort was, okay, well, would people really eat a egg sandwich if it's cold? Yeah, sometimes. Josh Case is testifying on the stand. He's Eric's friend, and also they had a business relationship. Now, they were pretty close to each other. They met in 2014. They also worked together from 2016 on. They played sports together. They camped together. They hunted together. And they also traveled together quite a few times.
Outgoing, confident, fun person to be around. He's just kind of magnetic personality. Obviously not shy, I'd say competitive, especially in sports that we played. He was extremely dependable. One of the best subcontractors I've ever had. If you asked him to do something he didn't forget, it was always done. Every time he said he would be somewhere or get something done, he always got it done. He was very, very responsible and good that way.
So if Eric really was a drug addict to fentanyl, would he be as reliable and dependable? Would he have been good at his job? Right? That's something the jury has to entertain. Now, he did talk about a February 14th phone call. Again, this was after Eric consumed that egg sandwich. And he said that it was like unlike any conversation he's ever had with Eric before. It was like he was really somber. Eric was like usually upbeat, but for some reason he was really serious. He did ask if Eric was okay. He did ask if Eric was going to go to the hospital and what Eric was going to do about it. He's not able to introduce what Eric said directly because that would be hearsay. Oh man, I was really looking forward to this testimony. So Chelsea Barney, Kouri's best friend, they knew each other for 20 years since 9th grade. They talked at the time. Chelsea really supported Kouri throughout these times. And they're going to talk about the HELOC that Kouri took out. Kouri told you?
We were on a vacation to Sun Valley, and she had told me about it.
Was that vacation in October of 2020?
Yes. She had said that Eric was mad at her and had turned off her credit cards because he found out she took a loan out on the house, and asked if we could pay for the trip, and she would reimburse us when she could.
What? That's so awkward. Wait, they were already on vacation. And she's like, hey guys, we're on vacation right now. By the way, Eric turned off my credit cards because I stole money from him. Do you guys mind paying for my trip right now so I can pay you guys back later? What the fuck? That's so awkward. Just don't go on this damn trip.
Did Kouri Richins say what she did with that $250,000?
She used it.
That's so awkward because if like you're the friend, it's like, well, you're already here. I kind of can't say no because who's going to pay for your food and your transportation and the activities we're going to be doing? That's so fucking awkward to put your friends in that situation. Oh my God. Yes, but it's technically my money, so I shouldn't feel bad. But if I just walked away and said good luck, I would feel like an ass. Chelsea's like, oh, at this point, Chelsea didn't even know how much Kouri took out. How much did you take out? Oh my gosh. Kouri writes back, a lot. Chelsea writes back, haha, I don't know, friend. How long do you think it would take for you to pay him back? Exactly. What income did Kouri have at this time? $250K. It will take me a couple months until my investments pay out. But remember the forensic accountant's testimony. It seems like it was never paid.
At the time of his death, it was over its limit, $254,000.
That the house she flipped made money. I mean, I didn't really ask much about how much she made or didn't make, and she said she paid him back.
THC gummies, did you know Kouri Richins to use illicit drugs?
No.
Other than THC gummies, did you know Eric Richins to use illicit drugs?
No.
Did you know him to use pain pills at all?
No.
Oh, yes, it is. It's all fucking crazy. Or crazy. My attorneys have been talking to me all day about it. They're saying it's poisoning, but that means he's overdosed on it by accidentally. Obviously, because he doesn't do drugs. Oh, God. Just her telling everyone he doesn't do drugs. And then now, a year later, she's claiming he did drugs and he would put drugs in my suitcase and smoke them when we would travel together. All right, go back to the text. He said they have no evidence of either of us having anything to do with it, so somehow it got in his system. We should get the cause of death and autopsy this week, and then my attorneys are going to push for everything and try to close this shit out.
The sister-in-law had told Kouri that the house was no longer hers and it belonged to the other sister because she was in charge of everything. Crying, I mean, pretty upset. Yeah.
Did she collapse?
Yeah.
Was she hysterical?
Yeah. She just said she couldn't believe this was all happening.
They can't bring up the fight, though. The judge did not allow that out. One of them was throat punch, really?
What, ma'am, do you know about Kouri Richins' business?
Very little. Just that she would buy houses, flip them, and sell them.
Did she present to you as being successful at that?
Yes.
Was she very generous to you?
Yes.
Did you have savings from your tip money to pay the $45,000 down payment?
Yes.
Did that amount to essentially your life savings at that point?
Yes.
You wire $45,000 to Kouri Richins in 2 separate wires?
Yes.
Chelsea, the best friend, was unable to get a traditional mortgage, so Kouri helped her. She had her wire over $45,000, which she did, but Kouri did not use that as down payment. Kouri ended up using that to pay off her debt. And this is what happened to her friend's house.
From that point forward, did you continue to live in the home, pay the mortgage, and have the understanding that it was your home?
Yes. When she got arrested, I was informed that there was a loan taken out on my house that I didn't know about, or I didn't take it out.
Your Honor, hearsay?
So did there come a time when your understanding changed?
Yes, I emailed the lady I signed the papers with and asked for copies of the paper, and she told me it was never filed with the county. September 24, I believe. I was evicted.
Wow.
You were evicted in September 24?
Mm-hmm.
Why were you evicted?
The new owners kicked me out.
Oh my gosh.
Were there new owners because the mortgage was foreclosed on?
No.
Why were there new owners?
I don't know how it all works, but she gave the deed over to someone else, and they owned the house.
Let's read the messages after Eric passed away. Kouri writes, "Oh my fucking God, I got the document." 617. She says, "It's Katie and Amy, the sisters. They said I didn't even try CPR. Oh my God, what the fuck? Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I didn't make him a fucking sandwich. Those fucking idiots. Gosh, I'm gonna get demonetized. It was Valentine's Day, and Eric and I were both working from home that day, and I ordered lunch from Mirror Lake Diner. He never broke out in hives or used an EpiPen. I was fucking with him. Bailey was there too. He said the sandwich hurt his stomach, so he was going to take a nap. No hives, no EpiPens. They are such liars. And then he woke up and went to work. Why would you lie to your best friend about this? So we know on Valentine's Day, based on location, text messages, her paramour's testimony, that she was out cheating, okay? She was out with affairs. She was not at home with Eric. They weren't working from home. She wasn't with him. She got the sandwich from the diner, yes, but she dropped it off to him and left it in the truck or something, and then she went to a Fairland, all right? Eric got sick in Greece because we're all at the restaurant and he ordered a non-alcoholic drink and they mixed alcohol in it anyway and gave it to him. Everyone was there and watched it happen. I didn't give him a fucking drink. The waitress did. Exactly. Eric was not going to divorce me. Are you fucking kidding me? They can all go through her text and read the message, and she would send me to me and they know that. Wait, what? She would send to me and know that. We're going to listen to a phone call where Kouri sounds like she's inebriated. Chelsea's there too, and they're speaking to Bryce, Eric Richins' best friend. I will have a separate video where the entire audio is up.
So, you know that I'm obviously in a lawsuit with the Richins. I don't care about money. It's not a big fucking deal to me. All the money, Eric has almost, $3 million in life insurance money. I want it all to go into the trust to my kids. I don't want any of it, Bryce. I don't care about money.
Sure.
This house is my house, Bryce.
Right.
But, when I make money, I work hard for my money, Bryce. I do. I don't make Eric money. I have put $80,000 towards our mortgage in the last year. I paid $60,000 in cash of my money towards that pool. This is my house, and I'm gonna fight for it. They can have half of C&E. They can have all the life insurance money. They can have anything they want. Take it, but they can't have my house, Bryce. Yeah, I took $250,000 off of our house.
Yeah.
Do you know how much in real estate we own today because I did that? $11 million worth of real estate. Do you know why I did that, Bryce? Because Eric would never let me work. Eric never trusted me in believing me. No, but I want you to know that. Would you do it? Would you take $250,000 to make $11 million?
Well, that's true. You're right.
But see, here's the thing. Because we had the financial forensic accountant already testify, she didn't have this $11 million worth of real estate. I think they calculated her net worth to have been like, what, $6 million, but then her liabilities were like $8 million. Okay. And it's not just the fact that, like, at the end of the day, when you're in a relationship with someone, it's not just the money aspect, right? Like, great. Even if she did make, let's pretend that we take her at face value, completely true. $11 million worth of real estate. Like, yeah, you take $250K to make $11 million. Wonderful. Great. But you still fucked up the trust aspect of it, though. You still did it without his knowledge. That's where it's fucked up. It's at the end of the day, like I said, it's not really about the money, right? Like you said, Kouri, it's really just about the trust aspect.
I own 12 properties that are almost all paid off. Including my own house that I've almost paid off. Like, I own multiple houses in Park City, in Mill Creek, in Saratoga Springs, in Heber, in Midway, all because I did that. And they all go to my kids. $11 million of real estate property because I took $250,000, Bryce.
So liabilities are things that she owes. So she had a loan on the properties, each of the properties that she owned, and each of those was more than the property was worth.
Yikes, she had a loan on all the properties owned.
All those payday loans that we've talked about.
Payday
and
loans.
She also had different lines of credit that were, by and large, all maxed out. Not just the HELOC, but also she had some personal lines of credit associated with her checking accounts. Those were all maxed out. And she also had credit cards that had high balances.
On March the 5th, 2022, immediately after closing on the Midway Mansion, what was the amount of Kouri Richins'
liabilities?
Right around $8 million.
He just never gave me a fucking chance. He never gave me a chance because he didn't believe in me. And he can say whatever he wanted. He can say I stole from him. He can say whatever. But at the end of the day, that $250,000 price was paid off in 7 months and turned into $11 million in 2 years. And now somebody's going to come in and take my fucking house from me? It's not going to happen.
I mean, quite honestly, she sounds more pissed and angry at Eric than anything, and how she's really upset about losing this house. More upset than actually losing her husband. Her husband who had just died. Interesting. Oh boy, this is such a mess. He never gave me a chance because he never believed in me. And I think that's why she worked so hard to hide all this financial spiral that she was going through. She didn't want anyone to know. That's why she paid so much more in her tax return money, because she wanted to purport her business as successful. It's really sad. You know, it's like the intentions were there. The motive was there to make money, to be independent, to, you know, to be successful. But how she went about doing that, to have this fake facade of hers, like, it was just, it's not good business decisions.
Amy said I was an incompetent mother of Saturday night. Tell him that. I didn't tell him that.
Saturday, Amy.
Bryce, I am not a bad mom. Like, I am not a bad fucking mom. And Amy told him I was a bad mom.
Here's another phone call, and she sounds sober.
She's like, it wasn't an aneurysm. I can tell you that. And she goes, he did test positive twice for COVID. And I was like, yeah, bullshit. No. Which we did have COVID a month and a half ago. Like, we all tested positive, but that was like a month and a half ago. Like, he didn't still have fucking COVID. He was like, well, his lungs, he had a fungal infection in his lungs. Like, they were completely covered in white spots. She's like, and I don't know what it was. She's like, so I cut 3 of them out and sent them in for biopsies. She's like, but they were so full of fluid and blood. She's like, I have no idea yet what it is. She's like, so I'm thinking between the COVID and the fungal infection that it shut his lungs down. And I was like, no.
Is this a forensic pathologist? Because I think that testimony, she did mention that she did talk to Kouri about that. Because for some reason, Kouri was like telling people that Eric died of aneurysm, right, initially. And then it wasn't even confirmed. But she heard that from maybe the paramedic. Paramedic just made a guess, but it wasn't like a ruling or anything like that. And then in terms of the fungal infection, for some reason she told Eric's father that Eric died of the same thing as your wife did. And Eric's dad was like, wait, what? So they reached out to the medical examiner's office, and the medical examiner was like, no. We have not had any specific findings yet. So
like that, he is the healthiest guy. That guy is a fucking mountain goat. Like he could like, I was like, we just ran a half a marathon 6 months ago, and Eric didn't even train for it, and I did, and he beat me by 40 minutes. Like,
damn, Eric beating her in everything in life, and I think she just resented him for it.
No, there's nothing wrong with his lungs. Like, no, I don't believe that. And she got bitchy with me, and she's like, well, what do you mean no? And I was like, no, it's not COVID in his lungs. Like,
it's weird. Everyone that Kouri has an interaction with, everyone's rude to her. Everyone is bitchy to her. Are they? Are they really though? Or are they just trying to give you information? So she said that the divorce attorney that she consulted with was a bitch to her, right? And so now, so was the person who worked for the medical examiner's office.
It's just not. There's no way. And I was like, and no offense, like, my husband would roll over in his grave and haunt you and everybody involved if you put him down as COVID. We are very against COVID and vaccines. Like, nope, not happening. Like,
what does that mean? What does that mean to be against COVID and vaccine? You could still die of COVID if you're against COVID. Like, you could still be like, hey, there's no way that I'm healthy enough and I'm going to die of COVID. You could still die of COVID. What the fuck is she talking about?
I was like, he was just at soccer the night before. He was at soccer the night before. He was running around. Like, he was totally fucking healthy. He wasn't sick. He was not.
Hey guys, I'm against fucking cancer, okay? There's ain't no way I'm going to die of cancer just because I'm against cancer, all right?
I was like, I will call you back in 2 weeks, because she said that she sent all of his organs out for testing, a toxicology report, blood, everything. And that's why it's going to take so long. And I was like, okay, well, I'll call you back in 2 weeks when you have more results, because that is not what it is. Like, there's no way.
That is not what it is. Like,
hey, there's no fucking way.
Of COVID had symptoms before.
Yes, they were overweight. They were in the hospital, ICU. Like, he did not die of fucking COVID, lady.
Just randomly.
Jesus.
And like in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. Like, I would have heard him get up, have a hard time breathing. Bryce, when I found him, he was in the exact same position as he was when he fell asleep. When I rolled over, when I got in bed with him at 3 a.m., like, he was in the same position as he was when I went to bed with him. Like, no, I don't buy.
But who knows that the medical examiner even passed on this message to her, because Kouri could just be making it up. I think it's possible that if she did say that there was fluid in his lungs and they had no idea what it was and they sent it out for a biopsy and maybe it looked a little weird with all the white shit in it, maybe, you know, she was like, oh, maybe it's like some long-term COVID shit where, like, you know, your symptoms have already kind of passed, but it's still something that's still affecting you eternally. Maybe that's the possibility why she could have said COVID if she said COVID. That's what I'm guessing. But remember, her testimony was that, yeah, after they did that, she found out that Eric worked at a stonemasonry. So if you're cutting a lot of stone and you're breathing in a lot of like debris and shit like that, then it could make sense as to why he had those. I forgot what she said specifically. Granularities or granulars or something like that in his lungs.
I was like, that guy was in better shape than anybody you could ever imagine. Like,
he didn't drink like we
he
did?
didn't drink. No, he didn't drink. He didn't smoke. I was like, literally, I trained for a half marathon for 6 months. He woke up that morning and decided he was going to run a half marathon and still beat me by 40 minutes.
Fucking hate that you do that shit.
Yes, it was so annoying. I was fucking pissed, but he still did it. I mean, all she has to do is just, Bryce, give me my house. Like, I don't make Eric money, but I make okay money. Like, just give me my house. They can have
okay.
Have everything. Just this is Bryce. This is my home. I got married here.
Absolutely.
This is my baby. I brought my babies here. Like, this is my home. They can have everything they want, but give me my house, for God's sake. Like, Jesus.
What do they want? What does Katie want to do with it? Does she want to sell it?
No, I don't know. They just want it. They want the title in the trust's name, so I can't have control over it. And they won't figure anything out with it until they have the autopsy report. And when they said that, it broke me. Like, I said, what does that mean?
Thinking that you had something to do with it.
Yeah, and I lost it. And I asked my attorneys, I said, I don't understand. What does that mean? And he was like, they think you had something to do with Eric's death. And I said, what the fuck does that mean? Jesus Christ. And he was like, they think that, you know, and they reiterated it, and I was like, oh my God, what? And they're like, they're going with that, Kouri. They're on that level. And Bryce, I lost it. Fucking lost it. I was like, you think I killed my fucking husband for Jesus Christ's sake? Amy said I was an incapable mom and that I was so drunk that night she had to care for my kids. And I couldn't care for my own kids. I love to drink. You know that, Bryce. Like, everybody knows it. I love to drink. I have never been in a position ever that I could not take care of my own children, ever. Like, and remember Amy took video? She showed her attorney those videos and said, look, Kouri's partying all night. She's not a grieving wife. She's not a capable mother. She showed those videos to their attorney, Bryce, like, and showed my fucking attorney. Like, I'm a good mom, Bryce. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like,
I mean,
so she showed them with your pants off, Bryce. Also, you didn't have any pants on, Bryce. You didn't have any pants on.
Well, anybody who knows our relationship, my pants are never on.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, we were just like, it was just a celebration of life. Like, it was like,
I agree.
why did you do that? Why did you do that? I lost my husband. I lost my kids' dad. My babies lost their dad, Bryce. Jesus fucking hell. And you're going to submit videos and say that I'm an incompetent mom? Like, what? It's not fair.
She's really playing up this victim thing. Like, I'm a grieving mother. I'm the victim in all of this.
It's just one time. And I said, you guys can have money, have all the money you had. I don't care. Just leave me alone, you know? Just fucking leave me alone. It's not.
Hopefully when that autopsy chick comes back, they can stop me thinking it rules out that there's no foul play. Which
But that's the thing. Like, it's so hurtful. It's so hurtful that there's a decision regarding the autopsy.
One of Kouri's best friends is going to testify, and she is going to talk about how they went on a trip together to Sedona, and we got to read this life story that Kouri wrote about herself.
And did you understand it was a successful business?
I did. I believed it to be, yes.
Did you know whether or not the business was in any financial distress?
No, I did not.
Ma'am, are you familiar with Josh Grossman?
Yes.
How so?
I knew that he was... What do you mean?
Did you know about the affair?
Do you know who Josh Grossman is?
Yes, I know of him, yes.
How do you know of him?
Kouri told me about him.
What did Kouri say about him?
She said that they were having an affair.
And when did she tell you this?
It was about June 2020.
June 2020? June 2020? Wow, the affair lasted that long? I thought it was kind of unclear when the affair started, when he was testifying. It seemed like, I thought it was 2021, like fall of 2021. But I remember he did move from South Carolina to Utah around the beginning of COVID, but I wasn't sure if it was only, for business reasons or if they were already having an affair. Wow. So at least 2-year affair. Kouri was born in 1990 in Oklahoma. Her parents were married and worked for the same engineering company. They were both previously married with children. Her father had a daughter, Tanya, and her mother had a son and daughter, Renee and DJ. Together, Kouri's parents had Kouri and her brother, Ronnie. Ronnie and Kouri had to move a lot when they were kids. From 1990 to 1996, maybe? They lived in 17 different states due to their parents' work. Kouri's father was a successful engineer, but he was also an alcoholic and spent most of his life. In 1996, he was drinking and driving and fell asleep at the wheel and hit/ran over a cop who had another car pulled over on the side of the road. Holy shit. He was put in prison for the next 6.5 years. Kouri's mom, who is today her best friend, had her own addiction. She is a compulsive gambler. Once Kouri's father was put in prison, her mom then filed for divorce in 1998 and continued working full-time, rarely being home. Tanya, Kouri's daughter, was raised by her mom, DJ. Kouri's half-brother lived with his father. However, Kouri's older sister helped Kouri's mother raise Kouri and Ronnie while their mom worked. Once Renee turned 18, she left and never had a relationship again with Kouri or Ronnie because she blames them and having to help raise them, destroying her life as a kid. I want to hear from Renee. In 2000, Kouri and Ronnie, their mom, moved to Utah to be closer to... Maybe I should read slower then. See, someone's sister. To who now? Oh, it cut off. Okay. To compulsive gambler. I don't know. It cut off at the bottom, so I can't see. To something mom's sister and finally settled down. However something. Their mother was a compulsive gambler, and there was a casino only a couple hours from our home. Every other weekend growing up, we would spend it in a hotel where my mother gambled. My siblings experienced the same thing. Mine wasn't as bad because by the time I grew up, I was in high school and I didn't have to get dragged along to these casino hotels or sitting in the car waiting while your mom's gambling. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. It's actually really sad. Eventually, our home was foreclosed on. Multiple cars repo. Okay. Yep. And ends were barely being met. Kouri's mother spent everything and more to fulfill her addiction needs, even if that meant losing her home multiple times. Kouri lost trust in her parents at a very young age. She graduated from high school in 2007 when she was 17, eager to begin college and have a stable life, make a stable life for herself. She began college and met her now husband When Kouri met her husband, she instantly fell for the idea of a marriage with kids and a happy family, a stable family, because that was her dream. Kouri got pregnant her sophomore year of college, which was very unexpected. At the time, Kouri's relationship was very rocky, but she thought something once the baby gets here, I'll be happy and everything will be fine. Kouri had her first son in 2012, graduated college that same year. She then got married in 2013 because she told herself, when I get married, I'll be happy. In 2014, she had her second son because she told herself, another baby will make me happy. Kouri then started graduate school in 2016 because that will fill this hole and make me happy, but it didn't. In 2017, she had her third son and her life spiraled downhill. Oh my gosh, that's actually really sad. I hope the third son never sees this. Oh. She graduated from high school in 2018. However, she also found out that her husband had been having an emotional affair. Kouri went to counseling on and off because of anxiety, depression, and this constant need to chase happiness. Her husband, emotionally, she's exhausted from years of hearing, you're selfish, you're not enough, you need me, from her husband. She ready to open her heart and find the happiness? I mean, this does sound pretty sad. It's sad, but, you know, you don't resort to murder. So I can see why maybe she really had this much, ire towards her husband, that she wouldn't feel bad about doing the HELOC and then taking his money and all that, because maybe she felt like she deserved it. Like, I deserve this. You know, I have to deal and put up with my husband, maybe. Don't love him anymore. I'm just going to take his money and do me. Maybe that's why she did that. Not saying it's a good thing. I'm definitely not saying that. She's ready to open her heart and find happiness. Okay. Is there more? Okay, we're kind of just chilling on this page for a little bit. All right, in cross-examination, we finally get to hear about Eric putting drugs in Kouri's suitcase.
Kouri found out that Eric had hidden drugs in her suitcase without telling her.
Okay, and what was it that he put in the suitcase?
Gummies.
And was she upset about that?
Yes, yes, we were laughing. Yeah, she wasn't crying upset. It was more or less a funny story, but not so funny.
What?
not so funny story.
I'd be fucking livid.
And I mean, is it fair to say she was not happy?
No, she was not okay with it.
Okay. And what was Eric Richins' reaction? You don't have to get into what he said, but how did he react to Kouri not being happy with him?
He thought it was hilarious.
He thought it was hilarious that he'd put...
Yes, his thinking was...
THC in her bag.
Yes.
Corgis and only smuggles corgis, hence the name. She's a famous corgi dealer. Yes, I put my corgis in my suitcase and we smuggle them around. I'm just kidding. They would hate me. They want to convince that he's a druggie taking gummies. And I guess like that's like the other stretch, right? Where it's like, okay, well, we have to establish that Eric takes gummies and everyone knows that Eric takes gummies and they're drug gummies. But like, you can't make the leap from... I know a lot of people that do THC gummies, okay? They're not fucking drug addicts. They aren't druggies. They don't do hardcore drugs. They just take THC gummies or they just take regular gummies, right? With the sorry, what's the other one? CBD, right? No one's out here doing fentanyl, okay? From gummies to fentanyl. That's a wild fucking jump. I feel like they have a strategy and they're not pivoting from it. I'm like, guys, I think we need to start pivoting from this fucking gummy stuff. I don't know. If I was a juror, I'd be like, it feels like you're wasting. Either deliver when you guys have your case in chief, or if you don't deliver, I'm just gonna roll my eyes at you because you just wasted my time with all this THC gummy questioning.
Our objection, foundation, particularly as it relates to whether or not hearsay is the foundation.
Right. Ms. Liz, my apologies. Would you approach for 1 second?
And you've known Kouri a long time.
Yeah.
And you've observed her on other occasions where she's been upset.
Yes.
Ever anything this traumatic, or was this the first time?
This is probably the most traumatic one I've experienced so far, yes.
All right. Did anything about her behavior or her reaction strike you as unusual?
No.
Were you there when there was a celebration of life held at the Richins' house the night after he died?
Yes.
And how many people were there at that event?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. There was a lot of people.
More than 10?
Well, there were people coming in and out the whole time.
All right. Was this something that was planned, like a planned event?
No.
All right. So it was... can you just describe sort of how it started?
People came to show their condolences and grieved at the loss of losing Eric. That's how it began. That's all it was.
All right. And was there alcohol?
Yes.
What else took place at the event? What were people doing? They were drinking?
We were playing with the kids and talking about memories of Eric.
All right.
Dancing, talking about him, remembering him.
Okay. Is that Bryce?
Yeah, that's Bryce. Sorry. Okay. That's Bryce. That's Allie, Cody's wife. That's Chelsea, and that's Amy.
Amy,
Eric's sister.
Richins. Okay. You can sit back down.
I mean, I guess if you say that it's weird for Kouri to be posing like that, smiling in a photo, it could be same thing said for everyone else that's in the photo, right? So I think, yeah, that does help Kouri. What's happening here? And to be fair to Kouri, I do want to mention this. A few years ago, there was an article or a few articles that came out saying that Kouri had thrown a celebration, you know, drinking and doing weed gummies after closing the Midway mansion. And it really made it seem like Kouri threw a party to celebrate and didn't care about Eric's death. Now we find out that, oh, this seems like friends and family came over, you know, and they're all talking about Eric and they're trying to, like, I guess, have fun, grieve. Alrighty, y'all, that is it for this week. Week 2 of the Kouri Richins trial. In a separate video, I will have a video where I'm reading all the text messages, where we have the entire phone calls. And yeah, because I think we'll just make this video way too long. And I just wanted to pick out the parts that really stood out to me. I hope you guys enjoyed these recaps. I did a recap for week 1, separate into 2 videos. And yeah, we are live streaming the trial, y'all. We got 3 more weeks to go. I believe the state will be wrapping up on Monday or Tuesday. We'll get to hear from Kouri Wright, the business partner of Eric's. And then I believe we'll probably hear from Eric's best friend, Bryce. And then we'll get a testimony of Detective Jeff O'Driscoll, the lead detective in this case. So feel free to stop by, say hello to me in the live stream. And yeah, it'll be great to see you guys there. Other than that, y'all, have a great one. Have a great weekend. And you guys take care.